dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. The minute you walked in the joint, I could see you were a man of distinction, a real podcaster.
All right, there we go.
Bump, now.
Is that what you wanted, Ben?
As the opening?
Yeah.
I kind of wanted you more to do the Sammy D speech.
The whole speech? I
The
mean,
whole
no,
speech.
don't you do it. No. Put that down. No, we're
It's
not
a
doing
challenge.
I'm looking at my phone.
that. No, put that down.
David's eyes are turning
Not
red.
interested in it. No, we're keeping this one on track.
We're keeping this one on track?
Yes.
Well, this is a famously lean,
Mm-hmm.
concise, focused, stripped down movie.
Just
Yeah.
realized we need to check a 60s box office game, right? Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yes, we do.
Okay. Welcome people to the show. Come on, what if this is someone's first episode? Jesus,
Wow,
embarrassing.
this place sure is full of podcasts. I'm the only one in here I've never heard of.
That's good. I like
Wow.
that. That's a good.
Look
that's
at
an
some of the
incredi-
dialogue lines.
Incredible line in the movie.
It's a
That's
great
really
line in the-
funny line in the movie.
And you think it's not as good of a line on this podcast when I say it?
This room is full of podcasts is not something that like makes the most sense in the world.
Hey, podcaster!
Yeah, there you go. That's what I
Right.
thought you were gonna do.
Look, this is a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell from the minute we walked in the joint
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that this was a podcast, right? We are three podcasters. It's called Blank Check with Griffin and David. I'm Griffin.
I'm David.
And I'm the producer. Hi, my name is Ben.
I don't know if that's ever been said
He
before.
spoke on mic, so he had to explain himself.
But also, I don't know if you've ever said it as I am the producer. Hello, my name is Ben, and split them up like that.
Well, the thing is that maybe if you're a new listener,
This is a clean entry point.
it's a clean entry point.
Clean entry point.
And you just know me as Ben, and I'm the producer.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
That's it.
There's no other baggage.
Nope.
Producer Ben.
No. Come
Producer
on.
Ben.
Didn't you hear David? He said lean.
I mean, it's the first of it's a guestless episode. I think I can allow it.
hey,
Meat lover.
all right.
No, you gotta do it faster. Though. You can't when you take pauses. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fuckmaster Tiebreaker.
Yes.
The Futzer.
That's a new
The
one.
Voice of Reason. Wishful Ben.
Sure.
Santa Oz.
Santa.
I don't have the
Haas.
full list in front. I'm just
Yeah.
pulling some from memory.
Yeah, just do something from memory.
Not Professor Crispy.
No.
He has graduated to a series of different nicknames over the course of different miniseries,
Mm.
such as Producer Ben Kenobi, Kylo Ben, Ben Night Shyamalan, Ben Sate, Save Anything ...
Mhm.
Warhas?
You're
Ben
forgetting-
19 Cameron.
What's James Cameron?
James Cameron is
It's a very obvious one.
Ailey Benz with a dollar sign.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
God, remember when we thought this was going to be a clean entry point episode?
Yeah, I know. It's getting further and further
ben
away
19,
from
the
that.
Fennel Maker. You drink Ben Hosley. I'm freestyling now.
Order.
The
Robo
Miyazaki
Haas,
one is the
Mr.
one
Ben
that's
Credible,
wild. The wildest.
Nausicaa of the Hitch of the Jersey.
Ditch.
Of the Jersey. Hitch. Another nickname we have for Ben is Hitch.
No, that's not one.
The Cure
No.
for the Modern Man.
Nope.
We call him the Cure for the Modern Man.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we
Keep
do.
going. No, we've never done that.
We're going to do it right now.
Anyway,
The
it's
Cure for the
Bronco
Modern Man.
Hosley. What's
Bronco
up?
Haas- Hosley.
Come on, there's a lot more. Banglish,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Beetle Vape Juice.
Yes.
The Hosliday.
Well,
Public Benemies.
of course.
Stop Making Bens.
Yes.
Hosbig in the City.
Uh-huh.
Ben Hosley Met Sally. The Secret Life of Ben's.
Uh-huh.
That's a really, really bad one.
Yeah.
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 Ben's
we
in the
need to think of
Haas.
a better one for that. Hmm?
Ben's in the Haas.
Ben's in the Haas. The Haas Break Kid. Open to punch up, apparently. Ben Escape from New Haas. What?
I don't know.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
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 They've-
Bronco Hosley is good.
Bronco Haas
Bronco
is really
is-
good.
that
And
one
what's
is good.
his Sam Raimi one? Someone had a really good. God damn it.
Well, the obvious thing was Spider-Ben 3.
No, that's not the obvious
But then in
thing.
homage to Ben's request that we nickname that series.
No, it's
Spider-
Haas the Great and Powerful. That's what it is.
Yeah, it
That's
has to
what
be
it
that.
is.
Did we
Yes.
Give him an Oz nickname?
Yes, Haas the Great and Powerful.
I was going to say, in homage to when Ben suggested that we call that miniseries Spider-Pod 3 cast, that the nickname is Spider-Ben 3 Hosley.
It's Haas the Great
No,
and
it's
Powerful.
that one's just too clean.
And you're too into that. You're like, we have to pay homage to Ben's
think-
stupid suggestions.
No.
Like,
no, we
it's
don't.
actually pretty funny and smart.
no. No, Haas the Great and Powerful is good because
Fine.
one, it sounds like the thing,
It does
and
sound
two, He is great.
Okay,
and
you know what?
powerful.
Fine.
I'm powerful.
I'm just gonna sometimes off mic call him Spider-Man 3 Pot.
Yeah,
Hosley.
those are all his nicknames.
Anyway,
Welcome to
we
this
did that.
show.
So
Look.
welcome to Blank Check.
Move it
Do the
around,
rest
maybe.
of the
It's a
spiel.
podcast about
Yeah.
filmographies, directors who have massive success early on in their careers and are given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion projects they want.
Mhm.
Sometimes those checks clear, and sometimes they bounce, baby. Dun, 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 dun. This is a huge opening bounce.
It is the rare opening flop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you make a little movie that no one sees, but to make a big movie that was a flop and then have a successful career,
Yes.
unusual.
Yeah, and also he falls into this category. We've covered a couple directors like this before, namely Efron
Sure.
and Elaine May,
Yeah.
but people who had a lot of success in a slightly different
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
So their first film is viewed with a lot more anticipation, a lot more expectation. He was given a long fucking leash on this movie.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about Bob Fosse.
Bob Fosse.
And I believe David's doing the hands.
Yeah.
I believe this miniseries is called Pod That Cast.
Yeah, so he thinks it's called Pod That Cast, but
Mm.
there's Z's.
CAZCT.
And I think it should be Pod That Jazzcast.
Pod That Jazzcast.
Just because I think jazz is a good word.
Yeah.
The other option is Podcast Beret.
Yeah, I mean,
Option
sure.
2, David wins.
Option 2, David wins?
Yeah.
Pod That Jazzcast?
Pod That Jazzcast, which is what you put in an email subject line to one of our future guests.
I know, but then I what did I put in brackets after that?
You said working title.
I said working title, and then I did a punch up. I came with Pod That Cast.
You did a punch down.
At least it's a punch sideways. At least it's a lateral punch. It's a clean side punch.
No, you're like those bad comedians. You were punching down.
Oh no! David's using his hands a lot this episode. First he had Fosse Jazz hands. Now he's giving me the wagging
Give
finger.
you Dikembe, and then I did a punch down. Pod That Jazzcast. I mean, if you really hate it, I'll give you Pod That Cast. I think it doesn't sound like you're you can't hear the Z's. It's hard to
You
hear
have to
them.
pronounce it. It's about performance. Pod That Cast. Pod That
No, I
Cast.
think he's struggling.
He's really struggling.
Struggling? Listen to my clean delivery. And Pod That Cast.
It's funny. It's All That Jazz, of course, is a song
Mhm.
in Chicago, the
Yes.
musical, which he never did film. But also he
No.
made a movie called All That Jazz,
He did.
referencing that song.
And he did Chicago on Broadway.
He sure did.
Yeah.
But he never filmed it.
No.
Because he was sitting there and he was like, Marshall's going to need this one. And they were like, who? He was like, you'll see.
Frankie.
No, not Frankie. Rob Marshall.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jesus, Frank Marshall.
That's
No, if
coffee,
Frank
isn't
Marshall
If
made
Frank Marshall
coming off of arachnophobia or something
Yeah.
made Chicago, that'd be interesting.
following up Congo with
exactly
Chicago.
right. No, All That Jazz. Paul, I'm sorry, Ben. You have to make a decision. Griff is going to be annoying about this.
Yeah.
For every episode, he's going to be like, "It's called Pod That Jazzcast. I
Pod
was
That
overruled
Cast.
by a jury of my peers."
I know,
blah,
I
blah.
know. And it's all riding
He's
on
gonna
me
go
right
all
now.
Mario Van Peebles, like rated X by an all-white jury. Like, you know how he did that? That's what Griff's going to do about
Pod That Cast.
Yeah. I've seen you do it 3 times now.
3, then you missed a couple.
Yeah, he's done it a lot.
Yeah. And every time it's you know what it is too? It's hearing the nicknames and knowing that then we would have to revisit this title throughout the series. It's only 5 episodes.
Only
It's only
right?
5. It's a clean 5.
5 and then a bonus. We'll do a Patreon.
Sure.
We're doing Patreon.
But the thing is there's a legacy to this.
You have to think about your legacy.
Ben's
it's
thinking
true.
about the legacy.
You got to think. You got to think. Years ahead.
Right.
David wins.
Wow.
Wow.
And I wasn't even. Well, it's okay. I'm happy. I'll take the victory. I'll
Take the
You gotta
victory.
take the W's where you get them.
No, but look. David throwing up a big dub. The hands, I can't much. He's inspired by Fosse. He's really using the hands to express himself this
Spirit
episode.
of Bob.
The hands. David's also wearing like a little cat, a little hat,
Little
like
hat.
tilted
I'm
hat,
suddenly way too horny, even by my standards.
dressed all in black.
I mean, I'm not, but I'm wearing
Yeah.
a black shirt. I'm wearing a congratulations
He's wearing
shirt.
congratulations shirt. Look, Bob Fosse, one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. Someone I've talked about wanting to do since the beginning.
He's probably been on our March Madness bracket like 4 times or
Kind of face
something.
plants every single
Yeah.
time.
He does, and I don't know why. Apart from, I guess he's not, quote unquote cool
Yeah,
these days or
but
something.
it's-
I don't know. Or it's a short filmography.
Aside from it's one of my favorite people. It is just a fascinating fucking filmography.
I agree. We've always wanted to do him, so
Yeah.
we decided to do him, and now we're doing him.
Now we're doing
That truly is the story.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like him, Beatty, I guess Barbara Streisand. There's a few where it's like these little filmographies.
Right.
Compact but fascinating.
Yes.
We've never, we've always had them on the pile.
Yes.
Now we're taking this one off the pile.
And
I'm doing too much hand.
excited to do it. This is the only movie of his I hadn't seen before.
Same. Oh, no, have I? I don't know if I've seen Lenny.
Oh, really?
Maybe I've seen in high school. I don't really remember
Lenny was the one for me because I feel like 90s big Fosse revival period on Broadway, right?
Because of the success of the Chicago revival. Is
Right.
that what you're saying? Yeah.
And then
sure.
they do that Fosse the review show.
Indeed.
His name is floating around a lot, so I feel like as a kid growing up in New York City, I'm like Bob Fosse, some dance guy.
You're walking down 37th Street and someone goes, Fosse.
Right.
You're
And
like,
I was
whoa.
like, okay, get over yourself. But everyone had Fosse fever. Oh, David's moved from hands to arms.
Well,
No, I know. I was like musicals as a kid, but the Fosse thing, I was like, I don't get what is this thing? I
Well,
think
and when
especially as
you're
a
a
child,
kid-
that's not like fun
Did
musical.
he write the music? No, he was a choreographer. He was a director.
The show's named after him? Is it his life story? No, it's like a review of his pieces.
Yeah, if you were doing a show based on his life story, it wouldn't be on Broadway. It would be in the red light district.
Remember being on vacation with my family. I don't remember where.
Okay.
And it might surprise you to hear that often my parents would be like, let's go to a museum.
Sure.
Go outside, and
We're
I'd be
gonna
like,
do something
there's a
touristy."
really good movie on TV in the hotel. I want to stay here.
Would they leave you in the hotel? I guess it depends on your age.
Yeah.
At a certain age, they probably could just
certain
be
point,
like,
I
you know
started
what? Yeah.
Yeah. But when I
Okay.
was like maybe 13
Mm.
on vacation with my family, I saw Lenny on TV.
Mhm.
I was flipping through channels. Lenny comes on. I think I actually filibustered to stay and watch the entire thing. Or maybe then I rented it and watched it in whole.
Sure.
It was one of those movies where I watched like the first, like Lenny starts and the first 3 minutes, I was like, what the fuck is this? And my dad was like, this is a Lenny Bruce biopic directed by Bob Fosse. And I was like, the dance guy? My dad was like, Bob Fosse is secretly one of the best directors of all time.
Good director.
And I'm like,
Low-key, a good director.
Really? You think that? And he's like, yeah, Bob Fosse's like really fucking dark. I was like, Bob Fosse's dark? And that movie is such an unconventional biopic
Yes,
that
sure.
it still feels like more biopic should be pulling from. So then after that, I watched the other 4 and was like, maybe I didn't see Star 80 until
Yeah, I was
later.
going to say, you saw Star 80 as
I
a
saw
teenager,
Cabaret
maybe?
and All That Jazz pretty quickly after.
Yeah.
But I was just like, this guy fucking rules.
Mhm.
I think this guy really actually, in a way few people can say, introduced some new things into like the filmic language.
Mhm. Mhm.
Certainly the movie musical.
No, I would say just the movie language, movies.
It's sort of like the vertical editing style that sort of like then Oliver Stone and other people take to the next level. But also like I would argue he was kind of the first guy to really sort of use editing as choreography, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
baby, it does make sense,
Right? Like
yeah.
the beauty of
I
old
mean-
movie musicals was long takes, sweeping cameras, this and that.
Us.
Modern musicals, too much coverage, fucking 5 cuts,
Cut,
every
cut,
dance
cut.
sequence cut to ribbons. It's just
When
meaningless. They're
someone's-
cutting on rhythm, but it's just like arbitrary. And with
Often
Fosse,
feels that
the
way.
move from image to image feels like a dance in and of itself.
He's doing freezes. He's doing slow
I mean,
motion.
this movie, it's fucking. He
does a
pulling
lot of very interesting
every
stuff.
technique. The freeze frame thing in particular is fascinating because it's like you're doing the opposite of a musical now.
Right?
You're telling me you're literally freezing an image and holding it. This is a movie that I mean, look, we'll dig into his life because JJ Birch, our beloved researcher, did send us a message at like
Crazy
3 a.m.
boy.
last night.
He's got to take it easy. I mean, we threw this at him late. It wasn't. All right. It wasn't. No, it was. It was 2:25 a.m.
Yeah,
Is that JJ? You know, this is right. This will be the context heavy episode because Bob Fosse didn't make a movie till he was in his 40s.
Right, he said-
He'd lived a life.
he said 42 years of a man's life in 17 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And then JJ's follow up is, if I can read this. One thing I don't think I mentioned enough is that he was literally never not having sex with a ton of women that were not any of his 3 wives.
I mean, look. I don't know. I guess you probably didn't watch Fosse Verdon.
I did.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Okay. Well, I assume other people watched that too.
Yeah.
And that kind of that kind of relit maybe the understanding people had of this guy was a total horn dog who was always up to no good.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. After the Chicago revival, it was like, Bob Fosse, he had a bowler hat or something. What did he do? Jazz hands, great. And then Fosse Verdon was like, this man fucked 24 hours a day. He was a rascal.
And had these like very sort of unusual years-long, emotionally tortuous relationships with these women who were his muses and his collaborators.
And he seems like just a very stressful person to be around in general, I think.
He was a man with a lot of demons, and that's why I think, this is his one movie where he's sort of trying to play by the rules of the movie musical as it was known at that point in time.
Sure.
But also, he's throwing a lot of other shit on there, and the movie musical is also maybe on its last legs, right?
The classic music, because when's Hello, Dolly? That's 1969 as well, the same year as this.
This is the year where it's sort of like collapsing.
Like, what are we doing here? We're spending a fortune on these like very, very like elaborate, pretty costumed musicals that are kind of long, and audiences are like
Fosse's putting all his shit into this movie, but he's also trying to do a musical that functions the way that audiences are used to movie musicals functioning largely.
Yeah.
And in Cabaret, he completely breaks the thing down and reconstructs it in one movie.
But that's 3 years from now, of course.
Right. And then everyone's like, Fosse, the musical guy, and he's like, what if I make like 3 back-to-back-to-back biopics of like the darkest, most haunted.
I mean, All That Jazz is kind of a musical.
It is, but another very weird, very unconventional musical.
Such a good movie.
Yeah. I mean, just an absurd blank check where like Ben was talking about.
It's not kind of. It is a musical, but it's an
odd version of a musical.
Semi-autobiographical.
Ben, you were talking about The Legacy, right?
Yeah.
The not wanting to call this miniseries That Cast because of the legacy it will leave behind, right?
Yes.
I've been watching a lot of old Fosse interviews, as opposed to the recent ones. The recent interviews aren't as good.
No, he was on Marin, but it was weird.
It was weird.
He got allergic to the cats, and I don't know.
And just a lot of dead silence.
Yeah.
There was one after All That Jazz came out, or when it was about to come out, where they were asking him the thing that everyone asked him at the time, which is like, you made this movie about you dying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had a near-death experience, and then you made a movie that, spoiler alert, is about the death, the thing killing you?
Yeah.
Are you, like, trying to control your own legacy? Are you, like, trying to get ahead of it? And he said, like, that's any of this shit. What are you talking about? Anyone who makes a movie is trying to outlive themselves.
Sure.
They're trying to leave something behind.
Yeah.
And he made a lot of movies about people who are, like, struggling to figure out what they leave behind and the impact they make on the world and all these sorts of things. But before that, he made a movie about a lady named Charity.
Yeah, Charity.
She's just trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, Charity. What is her? She says her full name, and now I can't find it. Charity Hope Valentine. There you go.
Good name.
Right. Charity Hope Valentine.
This is so my kind of movie.
What's the movie called? We haven't said it.
Sweet Charity.
Sweet Charity.
Sweet
but,
Charity. Adventures of a girl who wanted to be loved.
Just trying to make it in the city.
Yep.
On your own. That is my kind of
your
story.
Favorite sort of movie.
I really love it.
Yeah.
This movie was great, man.
David, as you put on Letterboxd, she seems like a good hang.
She seems like a great hang. I feel like it's not enough, devoted to this movie, to how good a hang she is.
Mm-hmm.
People are always like, "Oh, Charity, what are you up to now? Oh boy, what's going on?" And I'm like, "She's a good hang." People would say, like, "You know what, Charity, you're a good hang."
I mean, I think, look.
Should be a song called "You're a Good Hang."
You're a good hang. Sweet Charity.
Bob Fosse, Robert Louis Fosse to his friend.
Let's call him Bobby.
Was born in June 1927 on the north side of Chicago. His parents, Cy and Sadie.
His dad's a Hershey salesman?
A traveling salesman for Hershey, which sounds a lot better than like if you're a traveling salesman for trumpets or, aluminum siding or whatever. It's like, I'm a traveling salesman. Get out. Wait, I'm selling chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Come on in. I love chocolate.
Let's maybe bring door-to-door chocolate bars back.
Yes, his dad was a traveling salesman. His mother was an opera extra. He was the fifth of 6 children. He had double pneumonia when he was a little boy. And this is such a thing with so many filmmakers.
Yes.
Especially back in the day.
Scorsese.
Scorsese being the one I'm thinking of, obviously, where it's like, what's their childhood? They got sick when they were a kid and they were always being coddled, or they were always in the hospital, or they were always
They
in
watched the
bed
world
rest.
outside from a window.
And their mother took them to the pictures.
Right.
All the time.
It's
and they
such
were
a-
like, oh my God, the pictures.
Well, and I also think it is this thing that he always was sort of a weirdly sickly looking man.
Yeah. He's not the sort of live, strong dancer type that you might
Right,
imagine.
despite
Yeah.
being in good shape in that sense. And he
Yeah.
obviously also had his vices of drinking and smoking obsessively and all of that.
Sure.
But I think it's a big thing you get into when you start digging into his early life was like, he so badly wanted to be Fred Astaire.
Right.
And people kind of kept on saying to him directly or indirectly, like, you're kind of creepy. You're
not reading as
good at what you do, but you're not charming anyone in a clean, all-American showman kind of way.
But as a little boy, he was a good boy. His mother coddled him while his brothers roughhoused outside. I was a good kid, so I had to be a good kid. You're trapped by your own publicity. That's the Fosse quote about himself. Very clever.
Yeah.
When he was 9, he took his sister, Patsy, to the Chicago Academy of Theater Arts because he had a crush on one of his sister's friends. And there he met Fred Weaver, his early mentor, who was the guy who got him into dancing.
And he's like 13 at this time?
He's 9.
Jesus.
9-year-old boy. So Fred Weaver's motto, apparently, remember this, there's always someone better than you. Remember that. You're not the best. There's always someone better than you, and everything's been done before. Anytime you learn about like classic Broadway dancers, it just sounds very intense.
Yes.
It never sounds like anyone was having any fun with Gene Kelly or Fred Astaire or any of this. It's just like, no, this is 12 hours a day, sweating, learning every step, all that shit. Another nice lady, Marguerite Comerford, taught him ballet. He kept his dancing that he was being taught secret, of course.
Didn't want to be mocked by the boys.
So he would hide the tights and the ballet shoes. The boys, he said, would accept the tap. Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe the tumbling, not the ballet, not the tights. So what happens is, as you say, very young, he gets more into tap. He's not into ballet. He gets together a bunch of kids and they start doing shows, like reviews around town at like the YMCA or whatever, churches, right?
He pretty quickly gets pulled into the burlesque circuit.
Yeah, well, right, I guess so. Like, because he signs a contract with Frank Weaver that gives him like 15% of his dancing earnings for 10 years when he's like a teenager.
It's like the Rick Mackey deal.
Oh my God. So he's working with Charlie Grass. That's another dancer who is more ballet. Fosse was more into tap. So they would do like interplay stuff, right? One's doing one, one's doing the other, and they do kind of like acrobatics, flipping off of each other or whatever. It's hard to describe dance.
Yes, it
hard
is.
Hard to how to put all that.
It is funny though when you read this stuff, like a shittier biopic of someone like Bob Fosse would have a moment where someone does something by accident. He goes like, "Wait a second, that's interesting."
Yeah.
Right, and suddenly the style is born.
Right.
That there was some aha moment, but it really does feel like this guy was just seeing things from a slightly different angle from the beginning, and was just constantly adding new angles to things.
But that's what, like, I'm not a dance expert. I enjoy dance, but I rarely attend like dance performances, right? I love Broadway musicals and I love dancing in Broadway musicals, but I don't go to a lot of ballet or modern dance because I'm not good at being like what they're recognizing what's different about what they're doing or whatever. And so when you hear like, oh, Bob Fosse invented this move, you're like, I guess now that you've told me that, I can see that's different. But I'm not good at, automatically.
No. I mean, like when I went to college very briefly, my best friend was a dancer. I'd go to those dance shows. I'd be like, I don't know how to judge this. I dated a dancer. I didn't know how to judge it.
It's hard to judge it.
It's an embarrassing. I'm not judge it like good, bad.
No,
but
I know
would
what
just
you
be
mean.
like, if I'm watching dance as part of a narrative, I fucking love it. As you said, I fucking love watching dancing in musicals. And if I'm just watching a top to bottom dance show, I'm too much of a dummy to fucking understand what's going on. That having said, Fosse style dancing always jumps out to me.
It certainly does. That is very true. Yes.
There's an aggressiveness. There is a darkness. I don't know.
Yeah, Nellie, my girlfriend, musical theater person, went to college for that stuff.
Yeah.
She really, I think, I'll read here how she sort of encapsulated his approach to dance. It's based in small isolations. Isolations meaning isolating the movement of just a hip or hand or shoulder. Like everything being still, but one movement. The focus on one part of the body. And I really see that in this film. And I haven't seen any of his other films, but
Look, we're three guys who admit we don't know about dance, so I'm sure we're going to step in it and try and talk about these things. But I do think there's that weird, uh, sometimes staccato nature to the Fosse thing.
it's
Where
like
he's-
really, it's like just hitting the shoulder, but then that
Right.
opens itself to your hip,
Right,
but then
the
that
open
opens
knees
to
and all
your
that, right,
leg.
yeah.
But it's not like Fly Girl. Every limb is moving
And
at the
it's not
same
a
time.
fluid, graceful thing. It's like there'll be moments of fluidity that end
very-
abruptly.
Yeah,
right.
it's very like
Jerky.
Yeah.
jerky, stiff kind of.
He starts. Well, I guess this comes later, but like he loves doing the hand shit they talk about.
A lot of jazz hands.
He just fucking loves the hands, and they're like, keep your finger. And he just couldn't stop splaying them out. He always was self conscious that he didn't have good hands and was wearing gloves at a very young age because he thought his hands were ugly.
I'm sure he had very nice hands.
He hated his hands.
Maybe
I'm
he
telling
had. What if I like saw a picture of his hands and I was like,
you.
whoa.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Anyway, as you mentioned, a 13-year-old Fosse
Mhm.
and his partner, Charlie Grass, I think that's the name, right? Yeah, Charlie Grass,
Yes.
made their debut professionally with an 11-minute performance in 1940 at the Oak Theater. So
Mhm.
that was his first, I guess, pro credit. They get to be mildly successful.
Mm-hmm.
Weaver is driving him around. You know, they're getting on trains even. Despite all of this, he kept it secret from his friends. People thought he was gay, I
Yeah.
guess. It's 1940, you know, like whatever. You know, what would one might imagine for a 1940s kid getting into tap and ballet?
But I mean, it does feel like a part of the formation of the Fosse style is trying to find a way to make dancing hypersexual. for
Sure. Yeah. Right. No, you're right.
Defensive, sort of like, yeah.
As you also mentioned, he, starts dancing in burlesque clubs. He basically says, I can romanticize it, but it was an awful life. I was lonely. I was scared. You're in hotel rooms, 13 or 14. He was basically, I would say, sexually assaulted by
Yeah.
older women.
I think his
know.
odd relationship with sexuality is formed in these years.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll get into it more, but like sexual encounters at way too young an age where he clearly had no idea what was going on. And
Yes.
yes,
Just exposure to a lot of adult stuff.
you're behind the scenes
Yeah.
at these like very seedy for the time clubs
Right,
as
for
well,
sure.
and it's an unseemly element.
Boozing, smoking. Yeah.
Boozing.
If you are attempting to be an entertainer, this is the space where you don't want to end up, right?
Yeah.
This is either like you couldn't make it in the legit clean world of entertainment, or this is where you start and you move past. And I think Fosse kept a foot there always. He could never totally shake it. And it's probably because he was in it at such a formative age. I mean, his whole identity was shaped around these people.
In 1945, he is drafted to serve in the United States military because there's a war on. I don't know if you know about this. Yes,
What one?
World War II.
Oh, there was a sequel.
World War II.
See, this is the thing. They've
Um,
always been doing fucking sequels.
yeah,
People like to claim like it's a modern Pox, but
And they're probably, like everyone's obsessed with franchises. They'll probably bring it back soon
know.
enough.
But you know what? The next one they won't even call it World War III. They'll give it a subtitle.
And let's
I'll call it World War Revolution.
yes, World War
Legacy.
World War
Legacy.
Rising.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
Rising, right. Salvation. Look, he requested to do entertainment stuff.
Uh-huh.
As an 18-year-old burlesque dancer might. That was denied, but then luckily, as he joins boot camp, the war ends.
Yeah.
Because it's 1945, and so he did actually get kicked over to the Naval Liaison Unit, where he was doing more just like touring and stuff. I guess I don't know.
Imagine if they put him on combat training. They're like, it's taking this guy fucking 17 minutes to fire the gun. He's got to do this whole fucking rigmarole with the finger before he even
throwing things
puts
in the
it into-
air.
What's he doing over your shoulder? The guy's in front of you.
And so they
sliding it down his back.
would do shows at bases all over the world. Guam,
Yeah.
Hawaii,
Yeah.
Okinawa, all the
Yeah.
way to Tokyo. They would do sketches
Mhm.
with inside jokes. He would play girls in drag and so on. And he also eloped before leaving for war Oh boy, that marriage was annulled
by his mother because they were both underage.
Correct. So that doesn't even count as one of his 3 marriages.
Right. That's the 4th bonus.
That's
That's not on main feed, that marriage.
And also, supposedly, a stripper much older than Fosse showed up on his mother's doorstep saying she was pregnant with Fosse's
Son.
JJ put song here by mistake, which is funny. And Weaver, quote, dealt with it. His mother dealt with it, whatever that means. We can imagine. And then he moves to New York.
Yep.
Live in the YMCA, right near Broadway. And quickly he was cast as the dance lead in the national production of Call Me Mister with Buddy Hackett and Carl Reiner. He's just, teaching him how to dance.
Yep. He meets his first non-old wife.
Yeah, Marion Niles, right.
Right, who becomes the first sort of major female muse mentor toward relationship in his life, who I believe was 12 to 15 years his senior. He said he never even knew quite how much older she was than him, even after they got married. Yeah.
Back in the day, people didn't really know how old people were.
Right.
You could really just kind of be like, I'm 20.
You could really just kind of fuck around.
not gonna check.
Yeah, IDs didn't have pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had a couple sentences. You're like, I don't know. Got 2 eyes and nose.
So they work together for
brown hair or some shit.
This thing says you have eyes. I can see you do, so that's good.
All checks out here.
He starts
now
working.
Can I smoke on the plane? Of course you can, sir. Right this way.
Then they moved people to the back. Like it was like you could smoke on the plane, and then it was the back couple rows are smoking.
Yeah.
That must have been bizarre. Just this like little cloud hanging at the back of the plane.
Cool kids in the back.
Yeah, sure. All right. So he's with Marion Niles. But then they both get cast in a Broadway production called Dance Me a Song, and that's where he meets Joan McCracken, who is wife 2. And I think that was a very exciting time for Bob Fosse and a very rough time for Marion Niles, who was, losing her status as the object of his affection.
Sure.
But then they start working with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis on the Colgate Comedy Hour.
I know.
Gotta bring that back.
The Colgate Comedy Hour?
No, just like networks should just be like, there's a toothpaste that's sponsoring an hour of entertainment for you, right? Like just go all the way back to the beginning of television. Anyway, so they're dancing on the Colgate Comedy Hour, which must have just been absolutely the funniest fucking shit in the world. Toothpaste jokes.
Yeah. Big toothbrush joke, There's nothing better than that.
A classic running sketch.
Dean Martin lit at 1 p.m. or whatever. But McCracken is like, you should be a choreographer, Bob. You're too good to be like a nightclub dancer or whatever this is.
McCracken actually, I'm sorry, might be the one with the age difference I was thinking about, but he says that she was the one.
Yeah, she was 10 years older than him, Joan McCracken.
And,
so
and
yes, that's
she might have even. I'm sorry, I got it.
You got it fucked up, and that's why
I fucked up.
That's why you gotta be put in the box.
Put me in the box. Yeah, put me in the box. He said yes. That
Joan
she was
McCracken, an inspiration for Holly Golightly in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh wow. No, this interview I watched the other night, he was saying that she was the first person who actually was like, your ambition should be much larger.
Yes, exactly. Don't just dance. Come on, Bob, you're smart. You should be teaching people how to dance. You should be designing
everything.
dance. Yeah. Exactly. 51, Bob Fosse gets the summer stock lead role in Pal Joey, a musical that is very crucial to the Bob Fosse story. A good show. One of those shows, it's not really about much. It's kind of like Sweet Charity. What if there was a guy called Joey, It's
a good pal.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Pal Joey? I feel like they're reviving on Broadway every 20 years.
Stockard Channing, Pal Joey, like 20 years ago. Am I wrong about that?
Let's see. Stockard Channing. Yeah, I'm seeing her. She played Vera in the 2008 Broadway revival.
Yeah.
There was one in 95 with Peter Gallagher. I remember that one. Yeah. Pal
Can
Joey.
you imagine what Fosse could have done with those pussy willows? What he could have done?
Teasing him out.
Just two eyebrows doing Fosse movements.
Put tap shoes on those things.
You could, yeah. You could have an eyebrow tap. Yeah, that'd be good. MGM signs him at this point to a contract. So he's doing that, but he's also still doing Pal Joey.
Right.
He never actually got to play Pal Joey on Broadway.
Yeah.
He would play him nationally, like on tours and stuff. And so, but MGM's like, let's put you in movies. They put him in Stanley Donen's Jumbo, which I think, did that ever even happen? Or is that sort of like a film that actually I think.
did. Am I wrong about that? I think that
Yeah, it
movie
did.
exists.
Yeah.
But
But
not
it's a flop.
right.
He was in another Stanley Donen movie, Give a Girl a Break.
Okay.
Because replacing Gene Kelly, who is getting too expensive. But yeah, none of this stuff is good.
This was
he gets
his
kind of
hope.
his
He wanted to
role
be Gene
gets kind
Kelly.
of cut
He
down.
wanted to be Fred Astaire. He wanted to be the sort of hyper masculine, super charming, confident, smooth leading man of musical theater. And everyone was like,
But the other thing is, it's like MGM is like Louis Mayer is dead, like recently dead.
Right.
MGM is sort of, well, we'll still be grand old MGM, but they don't like the ship is rudderless. The appetite for these kinds of movies is fading a little bit, right? You know, like it's not the golden era, I guess, anymore.
I mean, I might be stepping, a little bit ahead. But another thing is, he starts losing his hair very, very young, which is when the hats come into play.
He does. That is why he's into the hats.
It's why he fucking
Ben's
loves the
giving
hats.
us a look.
Both looking at me.
I know, I'm just saying. But it's also why he puts like all of his fucking actors in hats, because he's like, yeah, we all wear hats. What are you talking about? We all wear
hats. Are cool.
Sort of.
Also, that was an era for balding men,
Absolutely.
where hats were also very, I think, just like part of everyday
of course.
wear,
Yes.
more
We've
so
seen
than
Mad
it is.
Men.
Yes.
Oh,
wore their
right.
hats and took the train.
Those cuckoo, crazy ad guys and gals.
The only successful kind of real mark he makes in this period is Kiss Me Kate.
He's in Kiss Me Kate, and he's given a 45-minute, that'd be long, second segment that he can choreograph for himself. And you can see it, and it does feel very Fosse, but he was kind of like, he's like, I'm doing terrible out here. But
have either of you seen Kiss Me Kate, the movie?
Probably as a kid.
Friend of the show.
Not in a long time.
Friend of the show, Joe Garden, and I went to see that about
1953.
10 years ago, maybe at Film Forum. They did like in the post-Avatar 3D boon. Film Forum did a whole festival of 3D movies.
Yeah, one of those classic posters where a guy is spanking a lady to teach her a lesson.
That's like the end of Act 1 where people are like,
that's what
holy
happens.
fucking shit.
It's the taming of the
He
shrew.
spanks a lady, and people are like standing up and hooting and hollering. It's a fucking Jerry Springer show audience. The Film Forum did a really great series of 3D.
It's a classic, red and blue 3D, right?
Right.
Yes, yeah.
But when all the sort of digital 3D technology was perfected in the 2000s, a lot of those movies were converted to be able to be projected in digital 3D without the fucking color tinting and modern glasses and all that stuff, so you could see it really clearly and everything. And that movie is like really fun on a 3D level. It's cool to see a 3D musical. The film is just kind of like whatever. It feels so perfunctory. And then there are these 45 seconds where Bob Fosse comes out and you're like, what the fuck just happened? It truly is. It's like the way I talked about the fucking Anthony Lane's Spider-Man 3 Sandman review, where he's like, there's like a minute in the middle of this where you wouldn't rather be anywhere else in the world.
Right.
And then the movie goes back to normal. You're like, we're just going to pretend like that didn't fucking happen. And it's so wild because it's not just him as a performer, but it's also like him as an author. Just completely changing the language, the energy, the vibe of the movie in 45 seconds. And there's clearly like he hits upon something where it's like, fuck, wait a second. Maybe we're not using this guy the right way.
Well, when the movie comes out, George Abbott, who's a big Broadway director, sees it and is like you, what's this? Who's this guy? Brings him in to do choreography for a musical he's got going called 7.5 Cents, which he cleverly retitled The Pajama Game, because 7.5 Cents is a terrible title for a musical or for anything really. And
so, I mean, you imagine people walk up 7.5 pennies and they're like, no, the ticket's $1. They feel like
can I get 1 to 7.5 cents? Here's my 7 cents, and I broke 1 penny in half. I assume that's how much it costs.
And they're like, no, you owe me $1, and also good luck using that half penny on anything.
And the guy's like, well, I got you now because it's sharp. Give me a ticket for free. And then he's holding the penny to his neck.
What happens next? What's the guy saying?
The guy says, the movie's called The Pajama Game. I'll accept 1 set of pajamas. And he's like, oh, okay, all right.
Okay.
Show,
yeah,
not the
cool.
movie. And he hands over some pajamas. Anyway. Jerome Robbins is working on The Pajama Game.
Sure.
This is a big break for Bob Fosse. He calls his dad. He says, I'm choreographing the dances for a new show, an Abbott show. Dad says, what's choreograph? He says, I'm going to be making up the steps for the other dancers. The dad says, you're going to give away your steps. I'm not joking. That's the quote.
You're going to give away your stuff. How old is he at this point? Like 20?
I mean, if it's 19, like let's say like 54 or whatever. Yeah, he's like, early 20s, 23, 24.
Yeah.
He's
sort of already lived a lifetime.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's crazy.
But this
showbiz,
is all these, like we haven't covered all these,
showbiz,
like we haven't covered older directors.
Yeah.
But if we do, it is often it's like, yeah, they got their start at 5, like,
Right.
working the Grand Ole Opry. He was sweeping up peanuts at the circus or whatever, right? Like
Right.
they're always
Sidney Lumet was like a child star, and then he was like a TV director by like 12. And then,
It was also a time in the world where you just had to grow up faster.
That's true.
yeah,
That's true, Ben.
yeah.
Well said. Thank you.
Ben.
I don't know what I'm
Brave.
doing. I'm very loose.
Ben standing up and doing a Fosse.
I'm very loose today. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with me. Then they do a film adaptation
Uh-huh.
of the Pajama Game.
Sure.
So he kind of works on that. I think he's just credited as like the choreographer or whatever, but that's like he like does a lot of
But this
behind the
is this
scenes like
run
that.
of-
He's learning how to
right.
make movies. there.
Him making a big splash on Broadway, Hollywood coming in to do the movie, and either like hiring him to just do the choreography again, or just pretty much running with everything he did. He doesn't get to make the films,
No,
but they're
he's doing the
all
choreography.
running off the juice of what he's sort of launched on Broadway.
Yeah, the Pajama Game is a good show.
Uh-huh.
And he won a Tony for doing the choreography of the Pajama Game, so good for him.
Mhm.
Then he goes from Pajama Game to Damn Yankees, another classic.
Right.
Joan McCracken, I think, is at this point getting ill
Mhm.
because she died in 61. They divorced a little before that, but she died from the age of 43, fairly young.
Yeah.
So he's working on that. And who does he meet making Damn
Gwen
Yankees?
Verdon.
Whoop. His eye turns to a lady called Gwen
Mhm.
Verdon, who is an actress and dancer.
And do you know
In
the
this
plot
new
of Damn
show.
Yankees? Have you ever seen Damn Yankees?
Yeah, do you know what Damn Yankees is about?
I loved Damn
No.
Yankees as a kid. I think a Damn Yankees movie is pretty fun.
It is fun, and it makes sense that you liked it as a kid.
Is
It's
it-
a high concept
Very high.
musical.
Does it have anything to do with the rock and roll supergroup featuring Bob Dylan,
And-
Tom Petty, Ted Nugent?
Wasn't Ted Nugent in it? Yeah, exactly.
and someone else.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't have to do with that. Okay.
Have to do with it's Tommy Shaw, Ted Nugent, Jack Blades. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No, it's basically like at the time it's set during the 50s.
Yeah.
The contemporary time
Mhm.
when the Yankees are always the team that wins the pennant. Those damn New York Yankees.
Oh,
It's sort of like
And-
the 90s around where people are like, it's no fun. with the
right.
Yankees fucking
and the
winning."
Washington Senators, they're basement dwellers, the worst team in baseball. And so they make a deal with the devil to beat the Yankees.
That sounds fun.
I know, it's a good concept.
But what's funny is that it's also like the lead character is just a fan of the team.
yeah, right.
It's not like
it's
the
like
manager.
management,
The,
right?
the movie's not about like
But
the
that's
Yankees.
what that's what
that's
Angels
what's so
in the
funny about
Outfield
this
is about
premise.
as
I
well.
know.
It has to be a devoted
Right.
fan.
Right. Like he's just like these damn Yankees. I'd fucking do anything for them to win again. And then like a musical theater Satan shows up. He's like anything.
And now I'm thinking about Angels in the Outfield because like that's an old movie, right?
Right.
And then they remade it in the 90s. This is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. Joker.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw it in the 90s, and the concept is like, right? His like deadbeat dad he's like, Dad, when will you love me again? And the dad's like, I don't know, when the Angels win the pennant,
Right.
right? It's like
Yeah,
something like
correct,
that.
Correct.
And he's like, okay, I pray to the angels that the California
Literal
Angels win the pennant.
angels come help.
And then, like, I watched it and I was like, so the Angels are so bad that this guy feels confident making this promise.
yeah.
And then, like, I'm like, why do you want your team to be associated with this movie? Like, that's all. I was just always confused.
It's just the thing I find so funny.
Like, why
about-
would the team be like, yeah, no, sure, yeah, the script looks good. Yeah, approve. Use our logos. That's fine. Our team is so shitty that a deadbeat dad can be like, yeah, sure, kid.
I never have to see this fucking kid again. Zero. You would literally need divine intervention.
Like when I was a kid and I would look at the standings, and if the Angels were doing okay, I'd be like, I don't understand this. Canonically, this team is bad.
Yeah.
Only divine intervention can help them.
Yeah.
Same with Damn Yankees, obviously. Only Satan could help the Washington Senators.
Mhm.
Anyway, he has an affair with Gwen Verdon. Okay.
Sure.
Well, he's making it, and you know what else? He gets addicted to amphetamines. All right, you got a
Okay.
problem with that?
Well, it was bound to happen sooner or
I
later.
mean, that in those days they were over the counter. You
They
get those
were.
greenies.
Dude, they would fucking give him to children to
Yeah.
lose weight or whatever. Yeah,
Right.
they were. You could get them easy.
Oh, God, what a time! If I was alive, I'd be dead.
And of course, Joe McCracken is also having like a total like health meltdown.
Sure,
Like she's
sure.
dying.
Yeah.
And so she eventually was like put in an oxygen tank or put on an oxygen, and he would visit her. And apparently, like, eventually the visits were less and less. He's, obviously they get divorced. He would still call her and they would have long conversations until her death in 1961.
Yeah.
But he's at that point, getting with Gwen, who he married in 1960.
Yeah, look.
So a year after the divorce.
Luckily, we have an entire movie coming up about this that we will talk about at length.
So much goss.
All of his behaviors with women.
So much drama.
Yeah. Yes.
He gets a chance to choreograph his hero Fred Astaire in Funny Face. It falls apart in contract negotiations.
Okay.
Fosse says, in retrospect, the dumbest thing that happened in my life. He really wishes he had done that. He works on some other shows. The Bells Are Ringing, New Girl in Town.
So he did a musical, or maybe it came later. The musical version of Hail the Conquering Hero.
Indeed, yes.
Which ran for 8 productions only. Or something.
He was working on a Broadway adaptation of Preston Sturgis's movie Hail the Conquering Hero.
Film.
Not the best known Sturgis, though.
No,
but
I
good
think
movie.
it was a big hit at its time, and it's on its face seems like very good material.
It was
for
kind
a
of
musical.
a hit. It is a good,
right.
Anyway,
I think
really
it's
funny
lasted
movie.
less, but at the time it was kind of a big hit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he has a massive seizure, which he blames on a horseback accident, but actually it was because pills. He didn't have enough.
Well, he was taking the pills while on horseback. That was right.
Sure. And because the show was so chaotic, I think it only ran for briefly. It was a famous bomb.
Yeah.
He did also do emergency choreography for How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Right. Yeah.
He co-directed Sid Caesar in Little Me. He finally starred in Pal Joey on Broadway. And then Sweet Charity comes along. First as a show.
Yeah.
As a Broadway show.
Starring Gwen Verdon.
Starring Gwen Verdon, who was in a musical called Redhead that he worked on. And so him and Gwen Verdon are like, look, we're in love. I love drugs. I love you. I love dancing. Why don't we do a Broadway show that you'll star in, right?
They'll pay us money and I'll use that money to buy drugs.
I don't know if that's what he was. So apologies to people who
apologies to
really,
everyone.
I know, terrible. Okay. They think about doing Chicago because Verdon did want to play Roxy Hart. But that doesn't happen. They thought about doing a Breakfast at Tiffany's musical. Oh, speaking of.
Which weirdly doesn't happen for like 60 years, right?
Have they done it?
They did it. The Emilia Clarke production, I believe, was a musical. Am I wrong about that?
Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke did Breakfast at Tiffany's on Broadway, and I think that was the first time they made it a musical.
Horrible. Yeah, it did. Yes. It's never really worked, though, apparently.
Yeah.
Truman Capote eventually decides that Gwen Verdon is too old to play Holly Golightly, and then probably sarcastically pointed out she was actually based on your last wife. I know he doesn't talk like that. I can't do him.
He was actually based on your last wife.
There you go. It's pretty good. Then they think about doing Funny Girl, but Streisand gets that.
Okay.
They think about doing something called Berlin Stories, which of course will eventually turn into Cabaret, but that doesn't happen.
Sure. Not as good of a title, I would say.
Yeah, Berlin Stories.
Life
and
is
then
a series of Berlin stories.
He remembered that he'd been told to watch Federico Fellini's Nights of Cabiria. There you go.
Yes.
I always get it wrong. Nights of Cabiria. That's a clean take for you. And so he went to see it at the Bleecker Street Cinema, R.I.P. And he shows it to Gwen Verdon and to some producers, and he's like, "This is a musical." I mean, the Fellini movie is so colorful and exciting and crazy.
I mean, literally black and white, but yes.
Pops.
Yes. It is not an obvious.
It's not a thing where I would be like, "Oh, this is a musical."
No, and it is a funny thing that like Broadway has always.
Everyone thinks this movie is too depressing to be a musical. To be clear, right?
No, I was just gonna say Broadway's always been inundated with movie adaptations, right? Because now people go like, "You're a fucking bro, what is it, Mrs. Doubtfire over here, Beetlejuice over here, it's all the fucking movies." The difference is that like. I think they were trading less on the name brand recognition of films, and the movies they were choosing to adapt into Broadway musicals were often more odd. there are obviously still examples of this. There are things like The Band's Visit where you're like, who would ever think to make a musical out of
Right.
that?
Yeah.
And it fucking works and it's a big hit, right?
Right.
And often those things work better than the movies that are beloved and are too iconic.
Sometimes it's a bad idea to do
Right.
Rocky.
But this is a
they did.
particularly odd choice of a movie
Wasn't
to
good.
adapt into a Broadway musical.
It's not typical.
It wasn't good, the Rocky musical.
Yeah. Okay.
You saw it?
No.
No, but it wasn't a hit or
Oh, sure.
whatever. It wasn't a huge hit.
It wasn't a knockout.
How many rounds did it stay up
All
for?
right.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Keep
So-
losing comedy points.
Down for the count.
So Fosse's like, all right. It would be set in a dance hall. Wouldn't be about a prostitute, right? It can be about a dancer,
Well, this is-
a taxi
Okay,
dancer.
so this was the fucking Breakfast at Tiffany's thing I was gonna say. It's this era of like writing these.
We can't say that
Right.
she's a sex worker, but we'll kind of
You
imply
write a romantic
it.
clef or you do a foreign film and you really get into it, and the American version comes up, you put it on stage, you put it on the big screen, and they're like, she's just a lady with a lot of friends. She bounces around from place to place. Breakfast at Tiffany's has that weird thing where, like, because that's a movie that I think children watch
Sure.
so often, you kind of like watch as a child and you're like, what is her deal? What is the thing here?
I remember seeing it as a kid and being like, one, obviously the Mickey Rooney thing is completely insane. Even when you're a kid, you're like, this is completely insane.
It's insane. It is truly insane.
And I remember my mom being like, yeah, and this was like a comeback for him. Anyway.
I know.
Two, you're just sort of like, okay, she's a lady, but you're mostly bored. And then at the end, when she puts the cat in the street,
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I was like, I was so compelled by that because it's so good when she
Yeah.
banishes the cat and then she goes and gets the cat back.
It wasn't the fucking song's incredible.
The song's great.
Right.
You love that song. You're a real simp for Moon
Oh,
River.
I fucking love
I know you do.
Moon River is like a top 10 jam for me.
I know.
But yes, I think wisely, like Fosse's like, we have to like give her an actual equivalent.
Yes, she needs to have a
occupation.
job that would not be a
Right.
job that would blend with high
Because
society.
Knights of Kabiri is explicitly about a prostitute Ben who is not given any respect or love in the world.
She's sort of a Dangerfield-esque character, Rodney.
And let's say sex worker too.
Yes, I'm
You know?
sorry.
No,
Yes,
it's okay.
correct.
Yeah.
But yes, it is sort of, he turns it into this more kind of like bubbly modern woman,
But she's a
about
taxi
town.
dancer,
She's
so
a taxi
she
which is, by the way, an incredible
It is a good-
job title.
and she doesn't dance with you in a taxi. It's like she just sort of like functions like a taxi. You can rent her for a dance.
right.
Is the idea. I believe that's where the title comes from.
The Tokyo Vice has
Oh, I
this
haven't
kind of
seen this yet.
similar arrangement, like
Right.
where it's like a club where gentlemen just go and you can kind of have time with them and
These
dance
things
with
that
them.
are truly about like companionship. Yeah, because the taxi dancing doesn't exist in the United States. It does still exist in other countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, obviously sometimes perhaps, things go further, deals are made, what have you. But the idea is explicitly like, you are a lonely person
Mhm.
or you don't want to go back home to your wife too quickly. You go there and you dance with someone, you pay them money, and you pretend like you're a guy who is able to, attract any woman from across the dance floor. Yeah.
So they work on Sweet Charity with this concept.
Mhm.
Obviously, he is drawing from his own life
Sure.
in this sort of underbelly of the dance world, for this. He hired Elaine May
Ooh.
to, I guess, pair with the show. I think the idea would be like, and the initial idea was that like the first act of the show was going to be Sweet Charity and the second act would be something else. So it would be like, and now we're done. And now Elaine May is here to do some comedy.
Odd.
And then she was like, whatever. She hadn't made much progress on whatever he'd hired her to do. And he was like, you know what? Sweet Charity can be a 2-act show. It can be a full
Sure.
Broadway show.
Sure.
I don't know. The 60s are weird.
Yeah.
He finally gets Neil Simon aboard.
Mhm.
Neil Simon works on the show.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, you've heard of that guy.
He's done stuff.
Lot.
He's done a lot of stuff. Big Broadway guy. If we ever do Mike Nichols, we're going to have to talk a lot about Neil Simon.
Herbert Ross. A lot of Neil Simon.
Yeah, sure. Let's do Herbert Ross.
Let's do
That'd be
Herbert
great.
What if we do Neil Simon on Patreon as a franchise? We treat it as a franchise.
Just any adaptation of a Neil Simon thing.
Yeah, just a quick 3 years.
Yeah, that would take forever.
It's a
Just
quick
what if we just do the sweets?
The Sweet Life of Griffin David.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we call the series.
Fosse is credited as the writer initially under a pseudonym called Bart Lewis, but eventually he gives sole credit to Simon to protect himself. If the musical failed, he didn't want to be seen as overreaching creatively.
Gotcha. Okay.
But, he didn't want it to be like Bob Fosse presents a Bob Fosse show. Everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly before the musical premiered, Fosse called up Simon, said the ending was not dark enough. And Neil Simon was like, that's pretty funny because the ending's pretty dark.
Yeah, I believe
for a Broadway show.
The Knights of Cabiria ends with her getting pushed over the bridge again. Right? Like Knights of Cabiria, it's full loop. It's just like you're just
brutal.
stuck in a fucking it's like Inside Llewyn Davis. You're just repeating the same cycle over and over again.
Yes, Knights of Cabiria does have a similar ending to this in that except in this she doesn't get pushed over the bridge, but she gets pushed over the bridge. She's walking back to town sadly, and then she runs into a bunch of young people who are dancing, and they kind of start doing a parade around her, which happens in every Fellini movie. People are always just doing a parade around you. There's clowns blowing trumpets, and there's a little tear that goes down her face, and it's sort of it's sort of a weird bittersweet melancholy ending, and you end and you go to a French bistro and you smoke cigarettes and you debate it. Yeah. I assume that's how it was seeing Fellini movies, right?
The other thing is, the Knights of Cabiria is one of Fellini's ultimate love letters.
Should we do Fellini?
Maybe. I have an idea for next year's bracket. We'll talk about it.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
We'll talk about it in 6 months.
Okay.
But Fellini, famous wife guy. No, but that movie is that and Lestrada were sort of the two ultimate sort of love letters to his wife as a movie star, right? There's something fascinating about Bob Fosse, also now Gwen Verdon becoming the greatest muse of his career, I'd say overall, and similarly using this basic text to do the same thing for her. And when you read about the production, her performance is the thing that everyone fucking talked about.
This is the whole thing with Bob Fosse, and it's, of course, I think why that show did well to be called Fosse Verdon. It was about the two of them. I think if you only engage with Bob Fosse movies, you are like, God, this guy was a singular genius.
Yes.
Right. And then once you realize more about him, you're like, oh God, they were a pair, and she was so crucial to everything he was doing. But yes. Yeah. No, everyone said she was incredible. She said doing the show was absolutely exhausting because, it's a very high energy character and you're on stage constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was hard. And she was getting old.
Yeah.
By Broadway star standards. And so the thing is, in the 60s, there's two films in 64 and 65 that are such hits that the musical kind of gets cool again. It had been on the downswing. But Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music are such smash hits that Universal Pictures sweeps in and is like, sweet charity, we'll buy the rights, $500,000, you're going to make a movie.
But then you have the run of, as you said, Hello Dolly, this, Dr. Dolittle. There's this run of colossal, over budgeted.
They're kind of collapsing under their own weight. Not this so much. Dr. Dolittle and Hello Dolly are good examples for sure. Because this is a little leaner.
Yeah, well,
and it's well directed and it's interesting. Whereas Hello Dolly's very staid.
But also, this movie was a fucking 2.5-hour roadshow that people were like, "What's the narrative thread of this?"
That's
thing?
I think that's the issue this movie has.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tiring.
Yes, it is.
I had to watch it. I'll say in 3 installments.
There's literally an intermission. Yeah,
there is an intermission. You could have used.
I mean, I that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was great, but I had to pace myself.
But yes,
I breezed through it.
There is this weird Julie Andrews created musical boon that doesn't really translate outside of Julie Andrews.
Right. It's true. It
and
doesn't.
These two very specific family musicals that are kind of unreplicatable.
Yes, I think that's true because the movie musical. Well, I mean, it's Bob Fosse who makes it cool again. In fact, in the 70s, but. We'll get to that.
This was a stat I read last night. All That Jazz was the last musical nominated for Best Picture until Beauty and the Beast. And then there wasn't another one until Moulin Rouge. So if you...
we should be doing that.
So if everyone thought we were doing Boz. Everyone predicted we were doing Boz.
We should do it.
We'll do it, and we'll be legends. But it is fascinating that Cabaret winning Best Picture...
doesn't start let's do more of these things.
We're like, how the fuck do we follow this? And it's he does another one.
It's a tough act.
And then no one fucking knows what to do with musicals until Baz Luhrmann, really. Like that Moulin Rouge is the first moment when people are like, oh, there's maybe like a new energy here. And then Chicago is so indebted to Fosse the following year, winning Best Picture.
Well, you know what some of the other big musicals of the 70s are now that I'm looking? Obviously, there's Fiddler on the Roof, which is that's more in the old, that's 71, and that's more like Hello Dolly or whatever. It's very long,
Sure.
very highly produced.
The highest grossing movie of
but
this
it's
year.
a big hit, that one. There's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, right? So that's
sure.
the other direction, which is happening more in the 70s. You've also got Grease. You've also got Hair.
The Wiz.
You've got The Wiz, where it's like rock-ish musicals. Like
cultural, new musicals, youth-driven.
Christ, Superstar.
Yeah.
Falls
That's
in the same
showing up.
category. Yes,
That's showing up.
Yes. David,
Yes.
this episode is brought to you by Mubi.
They're good.
It's a curated streaming service showing exceptional films from around the globe. Every day, Mubi premieres a new film from iconic directors to emerging auteurs. There's always something new to discover with Mubi. Each and every film is hand-selected. It's like your personal film festival streaming anywhere, anytime. Now, I rushed through that very quickly. Because
Let's see what's on Mubi.
This is the point, okay? And here's what I want to focus on today, David. Because we rarely cover musicals on this podcast. It's embarrassing how rarely we cover musicals on this podcast.
There aren't too many of them, right?
And you and I love musicals.
That's true.
Let's look into what musicals are on Mubi.
Interesting. Do you think I can just search for musicals?
Is there a
things will
genre
come
keyword
up?
search, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Ooh, Hollywood musicals of the 60s.
Well,
Oh, no, but that's a documentary. Interesting.
Okay.
Wow, a Harry Potter musical. That's the thing. There's such funny things buried
yes.
in Mubi
Yes.
that like you'll never see coming.
Mm-hmm.
Reefer Madness, the movie.
Sure.
You know, this is the thing about musicals. There's just not a lot of them. I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of musicals. You kind of threw me there, Griffin.
I'm sorry. Well,
no, it's quite all right.
My mistake.
I mean, I am seeing a double bill of Hirokazu Koreeda movies.
Which ones?
I Wish and The Third Murder. I
Okay.
Wish is really good. Third Murder is weird.
I've never seen either of those.
You should see all his movies.
I've seen a handful of them.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, I wasn't trying to brag.
They've got a nice coming of age series here. 35 Shots of Rum, one of my favorite Claire Denis movies.
Good ass movie.
Fish Tank, that's a great movie.
This is in the coming of age section?
Yes, this is the coming of age
What else
section.
you got there?
Paranoid Park, the Gus Van Sant. I've never seen that. The end of his sort of death trilogy.
Yeah,
right?
it's interesting.
I've never
It's
seen that
interesting.
one.
I wonder what I'd think of that today. I remember being a little, I don't know.
Little what? Let down by it at the time? I feel like
Yeah.
it was sort of, mixed reviews at the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, modern masterpieces. What do we got
What's
here?
in there?
Oslo, August 31st.
Okay.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Happy Hour, the Hamaguchi.
Uh-huh.
That's like 6 hours long. Burning.
Happy Hour should call it Happy 6 hours.
They really should.
Yeah.
And they should actually weigh
They
in on
should.
that. Look, we're done. We're going to stop talking about movie now. There's a lot of great
We're going to
movies.
stop talking about movie?
Well, not forever,
Well,
but
'cause-
to this spot because you have to go.
Absolutely. I got to go. I do have
But
to
I
go.
will tell you this. You can try Mubi free for 30 days at Mubi.com/check. That's MUBI.com/check for a whole month of great cinema for free.
That's all you need to know.
Mubi.
Movie.
Shirley MacLaine is
Shirley
attached to star in Sweet Charity. She had actually been a chorus girl on the Pajama Game.
Mhm.
And Alfred Hitchcock had noticed her when she was promoted as an understudy to a role. Alfred Hitchcock saw her, and she says that being in Pajama Game changed her life.
Okay.
So she demanded that Fosse direct the film.
Okay.
He wasn't sure. He wasn't like, I'm definitely going to do this.
But the main reason this film is happening is because she wants to do it.
I guess so, but it's also just that Universal is like musicals.
Right.
What do we got?
Here's a new one. 'Cause
and
this
she's a big
opens-
star, yeah.
This opens on Broadway like 2 years before the movie comes out. It's like a pretty quick turnaround, right?
3 years, yeah.
3,
66 to 69, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, where's Shirley MacLaine at this point?
It's just a big ass fucking star. Yeah, I mean,
She's
it's
such a babe.
one of the least surprising David crushes.
Yeah, not surprised at
You guys
all.
don't like Shirley MacLaine?
Well, yeah, of course.
Look at her. Look at her.
It is fun.
Don't you wanna
The fact that
hang out?
her and Warren Beatty are siblings is a thing I can never keep in my head.
They
It just
sure are.
doesn't compute in a weird way.
They're both hotties.
They're
That
both hotties,
computes.
and they almost have
Put
this.
that into the computer. What does this say?
Folks, I wish I could tell you what David's doing. It's like you could see the paper coming out of the printer. He ripped it.
Well,
No,
wait,
they-
what
they-
did it say?
They almost have the same face. It says they're both hotties.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's just the name thing. Maybe it's also just like it just feels impossible that both of them could have such legendary careers entirely
Yeah,
separate
that's
from
true.
each
They're
other.
very, very separate from each other. I mean, she'd done Woman Times 7 a couple years ago, which is kind of like an insane Vittorio De Sica movie where she plays 7 women. She did Gambit. I feel like it's been a while since she's had like a huge hit.
Gambit I love. Yeah.
Gambit's fun. She did Irma la Douce. That's sort of like that's
Right.
and that's like 63.
Yeah.
So I do feel like I guess it's just been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. We support Shirley MacLaine. And she's sort of in the Rat Pack,
She was
So like she's cool.
She could roll with the rats.
Right.
Yeah.
They bring in Ross Hunter to produce it. He had just produced the Thoroughly Modern Millie movie.
Always get Thoroughly Modern Millie and Sweet Charity confused.
They're very similar. They're both about gals with short hair going. So it's
yes.
IAL Diamond, of course, a classic Billy Wilder guy, comes in to write the screenplay.
Right.
He writes a gritty screenplay that is more Knights of Cabiria.
Okay.
And Hunter, the producer, is like, no, we want a G-rated hit here. We don't want this.
Yeah.
There was quite a fight, Ben, about whether Charity could say "up yours."
Well, I'm glad that fight ended the way that it did.
Bob Fosse says, "I felt if she couldn't, then we might as well make Mary Poppins all the way."
Wow.
So Hunter, the producer, leaves the movie saying, "Fine, if you're gonna make smut, I won't be involved."
Up yours, sir.
Yeah.
Now, John McMartin, I think, is so much fun as Oscar in this movie. He played the role on Broadway. I'm just going to tell you a person that was considered for the job. Do you know this?
No.
I mean, there's other names that you might hear at this time.
Sure.
Alan Arkin, Robert Redford, Anthony Perkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alan Alda. Imagine him in that elevator goofing around.
That's the thing. You think about the elevator. Talk about some elevator antics.
Oh, seriously.
You put Arkin in there?
Do you think that was George Lucas was referencing Sweet Charity when he did Elevator Antics?
This is my homage to the fact that they have a freak out in an elevator and the intermission happens in the middle of the freak out. This is the funniest intermission. What does that even mean? What the fuck am I saying?
I know what you mean. The intermission feels like a button to a joke. My wife was like, "Wait, is the movie over?" And I was like, "No, no. And then I was thinking, like, that would be crazy, though. That was the end of the movie.
It's just weird to have an intermission that's also positioning itself like it's a cliffhanger to like a Lone Ranger serial or some shit.
Will they escape the elevator?
Right.
Will he have another panic attack?
Right. And then they like, when they come back, they're like, finally, the epic conclusion to the elevator antics. And you're like in the middle of a musical where they're just stuck in a box.
I just think Alan Alda would be cute.
I agree. Look, that's the scene to talk about. What's his name again? I'm sorry, the actor.
John McMartin.
I was trying to figure out why he looks so familiar to me, and the answer is he has a pair of incredibly good guest starring episodes.
Okay.
On both Cheers and Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh yeah. He's a visiting lecher in Cheers, and that's season 7. And he was in, let's see, Mary Tyler Moore.
He plays a lawyer that...
the episode's called Mary Gets a Lawyer.
Mary doesn't want to give up her source.
Ah.
And she's being sued, and Lou Grant gets her a lawyer, and the lawyer falls in love with Mary, and she tries her best to reject him, and he's so dejected, he shows up to court, like, dead drunk, and they have to sort of, like, puppeteer him.
He's good at playing the Schlemiel, yeah.
Yeah, but I was just like, I've watched both of those shows in their entirety. There are a lot of episodes...
Yeah, where
they jumped out to me where I was just like, these are fucking really interesting performances. The episode's built around them. Anyway.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Did he win a Tony? I want to look this up now.
He must have, right?
I don't know.
He must have, David.
I'm not sure. Tony Award.
When did it go from the Anthony Awards to the Tonys?
Great question.
Terrible question. One of the worst questions ever asked.
That's a great question.
He was nominated for 5 Tonys and never won.
Wow.
And including for Into the Woods in 2002, played the narrator.
Oh, wow. So I would have seen him in that. That was the Vanessa Williams production?
Yeah. And he was nominated for a Tony for that and for High Society for Showboat, which I saw Showboat.
Hey.
That was my first Broadway show, 1995's Showboat revival.
Wow.
Old Man River. Remember that?
Man, we should fucking revive Showboat with David.
Yeah.
After that.
Wow, if they revive Showboat with me in the role of the guy who sings Old Man River, which is not the character, I can't remember the character's name right now. I think that people might not like that. I think people might be mad.
People might not
I think people might not like that at all.
I feel like that's also a load that we have somehow avoided up until this moment, which is podcasters leading Broadway revivals.
I just remember like we were going to go see Showboat. My parents like got, I guess, a soundtrack album
Yeah.
for me to listen to.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, so like here, especially because Showboat has no plot.
I feel like my parents would do the same thing.
Right. Like,
or
here,
my dad
listen
would
to
just
some
try
songs.
to sing the song for me and be like, get ready for this song. Gary, Indiana.
Good song.
Great song. Banger.
And I got really obsessed with Old Man River because it does fucking.
I could tell from the performance you gave. Clearly, you reached down somewhere deep to pull that out of you.
If I sang any more of Old Man River, I would truly get canceled. I am not going to do that.
I've invoked it too many times. But the 2003 opening Oscars Billy Crystal song, where for Mystic River he does Old Man Eastwood.
Yes, you sang in Paint Your Wagon, Don't Sing Anymore. That was one of the jokes. I remember that.
Yes, it does. Seabiscuit to Goldfinger.
Sounds good. Sweet Charity. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheetah Rivera gets cast
Mhm.
over Rita Moreno and Mitzi Gaynor.
Mhm.
Nichelle Nichols is up for the role of Helene, which eventually goes to Paula Kelly.
I almost thought it was Nichelle Nichols, though. She has a very, very similar look.
The highest budgeted Universal film since Spartacus, which will also be discussed on this podcast this year.
Yeah, crazy. Did JJ, was he able to track down a consistent number? Because the reporting seems to be all over the fucking place of how much this movie cost.
Don't see a full number from him.
Okay.
But 20 million is a number I've seen, which is crazy.
The 8
for
to
a
20
60s
range
movie.
seems to be thrown out. And the movie ended up at like 3. Shirley MacLaine alone got paid 1. And they were like, the whole roadshow engagement, I think, made $1 million in total. And then they like squeezed an additional like $1.5 million, cutting it down. There's like a shorter cut of this movie.
How did you watch it?
I have the Blu-ray. I think
I have the Blu-ray.
What did
I used like Broadway
Yeah,
HD.
you can only watch it streamable on Broadway HD, which is like a subscription service.
Yeah.
Which, look, I will say to our listeners,
Check it out.
yeah, Broadway HD, first of all, like free 7-day trial.
Sure.
If you want to support a bad company, Amazon, you can get a 7-day trial, but also with a cheaper monthly price. Broadway HD, a lot of good shit. But even, if you're not interested for the long term, they do have this movie. It's the only place it's streamable or rentable. They have Liza with a Z, which
we'll be
we
doing
plan
on
on covering on
Patreon.
Patreon. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
very
we're doing
important
it.
concert film. And they also have the filmed production of Fosse's Pippin.
Cool.
So it's like look, if you want to sign for Broadway HD for a week and cancel your membership and watch those 3 things, 3 important pieces for this miniseries.
But my guess is it also has a lot of other cool shit,
Yeah, so
right?
The Wiz
It's got a
on
lot
there.
of cool ass shit. You saw what?
The Wiz.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Huh, maybe I'll sign up.
Yeah, I signed up and I
Okay.
was like, I think I'm gonna fucking keep this. I should watch more musicals.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe
Yeah.
just throw on a
Nice
musical.
thing to just watch some people.
I like musicals.
They fucking
I
rule.
feel like I'm learning that
We
though
haven't-
with this.
Right, you
Yeah,
long
with
resisted
this,
them. I think for
miniseries.
some reason you thought of them as homework.
No, I just because I
You thought
also
I'm goofy.
yeah, I think they're goofy. I think
Yeah.
there's something about the
God, he
the
would hate a goofy
sincerity.
movie. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Like I think
You
I
gotta
just
give in.
I was too
Yep.
too ironic.
I
You
know.
I was too removed from
know.
everything, man.
God, I was looking at some fucking. I mean, like, once again, the foreshadowing. But when it came out, Stanley Kubrick said that All That Jazz was maybe the best movie he had ever seen. And I saw some fucking dude on like the r/movies Reddit or whatever being like, I'm very conflicted because I think Stanley Kubrick is the most brilliant filmmaker of all time. And I trust his opinions, but I hate musicals so much. How could he think a musical was that good? And it is fascinating how some people are just like, I refuse to accept people breaking into song. It will never make sense to me.
It's true. Some people are like that.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What?
They're stupid.
Musicals rule.
Yeah, they do roll. And
They're so much fun.
I have missed going to Broadway shows. I went to one recently and had a great time.
So the Music Man.
I sure did see the Music
How many
Man.
trombones do they have in that production?
76 beautiful
That's
trombones.
Wild.
Wow.
In this
76 trombones.
Did you count them?
No, I took Hugh's word for it. Maybe he was fucking
Flam
scamming me.
artist.
You know, the opening number of Music Man, which is incredible and is done very well, is set on a train car, and it's all the salesmen being like, he doesn't know the territory, right? They're talking about him, and you can see him.
Yeah.
You know, Hugh's the trick is that Hugh's sitting there,
Sure.
and he's going to stand up at a certain point.
Yeah. Yes.
And I could, I see him. I'm
Right,
like, okay,
you
there's
know.
Hugh.
Yeah.
All right. And
see
then
those-
they do 5
I
minutes.
see those biceps.
And then he
Yeah.
stands up and everyone flips
Just
out.
fucking- Yeah.
He's just,
Yeah.
it's just there's something about Broadway shows like that. Like you couldn't do that in any other medium.
It's the best.
Just the applause break for someone being like, "It's me." You knew it was.
I know. You know what they should do? They should be like, Music Man, new revival, Music Man. And you walk in, you sit down, you're so fucking amped. You brought the whole family. Curtain goes up, long day's journey into night. Harold Hill got you again.
You see him escaping with a suitcase full of money, and the money's like flapping in the
Hugh
breeze.
Jackman's performance is just running out of the theater every
That would be
night.
good. That would be good. Okay. Robert Surtees shot this movie. A great cinematographer. He shot like The Graduate and The Bad and the Beautiful and a lot of great
Yeah.
movies.
You know
And
this
apparently
movie
Fosse looks incredible.
I
This
was
movie
gonna
looks fucking incredible.
This movie has a lot of color in it, is a thing
Yeah.
I noticed.
I put this movie on my cinematography ballot for 1969, and I
Yeah.
had to really think about it.
Okay, give me the others. me the five.
I had to cut some. I can't even remember who I bumped now. My nominees are Raul Coutard's work for Zed,
Mhm. Uh-huh.
Nestor Almendros for My Night at Maud's. I mean,
I've never seen My Dead Mods, but Almendros the GOAT. David's looking at me like I just
I mean, one, it's a great movie and you should see it.
shit
two-
on him.
No. It's real Griffin canon. 'Cause It's
Really?
about a guy who's just like, I don't think I want to have sex. And the lady's like,
Hmm.
come on, spend a night with me. And he's just in bed being like, I don't know. I got a lot of feelings about this.
Who are the guy and the gal?
Jean-Louis Trintignant.
Yeah.
And who's the gal? Geez, what's her name? Very embarrassing of me not to know her name, which is, of course, Françoise Fabienne.
Oh.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
you know,
gotta
all of Romero's movies.
I know. Yeah.
The moral tales. You
I
know,
haven't
if
watched
someone's
enough
being like,
Romero.
let's fuck. And
Yeah.
the person's like, oh, it seems immoral.
Yeah.
That's not what they're all like. Haskell Wexler for Medium Cool.
Yeah, well,
Robert Surtees for Sweet Cherry and Laszlo Kovacs for Easy Rider. It's just like a lot of like exciting new
Yeah.
visuals.
This thing does, just look fucking unbelievable.
But what I was trying to say
Sure.
about Surtees is that Bobby apparently was just asking Robert Surtees so many questions because he's never done this before.
sure.
You know, so he's just like, what is this? How does this work? Like, what do
Right.
we, so he's very into, as he puts it, I'm just a schmuck dancer. I don't know anything about the camera, but he wants to know everything about the camera. Like, he's not just here to
Yeah.
be like, well, I'll handle the musical side of things.
No,
he's like, no, I want
and
to
he's
know.
not just interested in photographing dance. He's like really interested in the unique opportunities that film provides as a medium.
Which it's just so crucial to why he is successful as a filmmaker
Yes.
beyond his success as a choreographer.
Yes. And this is a movie that is just so in love with the possibilities of film construction.
100%. He was very inspired by John Huston's Moulin Rouge, a film I've never seen,
I haven't either.
which he thought found new ways to shoot dancing.
Okay.
Because, of course, as you sort of mentioned, Fred Astaire, Greg Kelly. Yes, Greg Kelly, Fox News host. No,
Greg
Gene Kelly.
Gutfield.
You know, they, full body,
Yes.
full figure shot of a guy dancing, right?
Right.
Moulin Rouge, he says that's the first time I'm seeing a leg or the flash of a face or
Sure.
something. Like, it's more exciting. Yes, maybe this eventually gets taken down a chop to ribbons.
But there's such
it's new at the time.
And there's such a specific intentionality to Fosse, and also once again, it's the rhythm thing. It's that he's constructing a very specific rhythm. I mean, it's what you quoted Nelly as saying, but the focus on like one body part as a time. He understands that close-ups, that insert shots, that creating offbeat staccato, editing rhythms around those can accentuate things and make that feel like its own form of movement rather than obscuring a movement, which I
Yes.
think a lot of coverage does when you're like, it's three similar angles that are just sort of cut on the beat interchangeably.
In general, though, he sounds like the kind of guy we cover on this podcast in that he's meticulous. He
Mhm.
pays too much attention to everything. Everything has to be exactly right.
Yeah.
He missed nothing, says Shirley MacLaine. As the result, he saw too much. Being the repository of all he saw rendered him indecisive. So his movies cost more money, probably, because he takes, he does more takes. He takes longer to do everything.
Look, if this movie has a fundamental issue, it is that he is trying out so many different techniques and ideas on top of what is a very simple story.
Right.
And it starts to feel like it's a very maximalist film.
It is.
And perhaps a narrative that cannot support that.
There's no strong narrative really.
Right.
And of course, famously, Gwen Verdon is there, and people say must have hurt. She's not playing this role, right? Shirley got the part, but you wouldn't know with her. She was stoic.
She was sort of uncredited.
Helping all the dancing.
Assistant choreographer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
also was just like, look, I'm not a movie star. Shirley MacLaine is this expensive movie. I understand how this works.
This is true, yes. Cheetah Rivera says the fact that she was there at all blew me away. But Gwen, did it for Bobby, did it for Jack Cole. I felt no resentment coming from her. She did her job, And of course, the craziest thing about this is the ending.
Yes.
Fosse shoots 2.
He just assumes I understand the game I'm playing here. They're never going to fucking let me have the ending where she finds quiet contentment.
So, right.
Being alone. And they shoot the fucking happy ending. And the studio goes like, this sucks.
Right. They shoot an ending that's basically the ending you see. She jumps or she gets pushed in. I think she jumps into the river.
She does. And then once again, remember, she can't swim.
And then he shows up and he's like, I'm sorry. I was crazy.
I
love you.
I save you.
Right. It doesn't make any sense, especially since that already happened. It's sort of a repetition of a thing that already happened. It's
just funny because that was always it sounds like the thing the studio would force and the director would lose their shit over. And the director preemptively was like, they're going to want this fucking bullshit. And he showed them, they were like, this eats ass. This is bad. Why don't you do that fucking sad ending? Everyone loved on Broadway.
One reason... so did you watch the other ending? Because I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's
ending.
bad. It's bad. It's bad. And it's just like, it's passionate. You could tell everyone's just like, this sucks, right?
It's like the Blade Runner ending where Harrison Ford's voiceover is like, and then they lived happily ever after, I guess.
It truly was a Blade Runner.
Universal is slightly inspired by the fact that they had just put out Funny Girl and Finian's Rainbow, and those also both have bittersweet endings.
Sure.
So I think they're thinking, like, we can get away with this.
Yeah.
And I don't think the ending of this movie is what hurts it. Like, it's not like the movie had, it had other issues.
This movie is both dramatically and comedically effective in large stretches. But there's just like, it's like one of those like novelty desserts.
Yeah.
Like a serendipity
it is
3
not
ice cream
an
sundae.
S-tier Broadway show. It's got some great songs. It's got like, this movie has an incredible Shirley MacLaine performance. But you're not like, narrative and dance and songwriting and are blending into this perfect concoction.
Like the novelty dessert thing, the fucking $60 frozen hot chocolate where you're like,
dessert.
Well, yes. I can't eat it. Like, this looks incredible.
Okay.
Every separate element you put on here is delicious. How do I approach this as a food? Like if I just want to eat the ice cream, it's hard to get to the ice cream underneath. And it's like the ice cream of this show probably works best in a cone. And then he put everything else on top of it, which it's like maybe would work for like a Pippin adaptation,
Pippin's so silly.
Right.
Yes.
You can throw the bombast on top of it, but this is in essence like a character study. And it's a story of vignettes of passing moments,
Mm-hmm.
I think people thought the bittersweet ending would work, but I think by the time people got to that ending, they were like, "What is this movie?"
They've lost it long before the ending. I think.
And the most critical reviews of this film, maybe not the most critical reviews, but if you read a lot of the critical ones, they're like, Verdon figured out how to make this character specific and compelling enough, and there was an energy that carried you along. And Shirley MacLaine is doing Shirley MacLaine movie star stuff, and she's not bad in it, but you don't feel like I'm so compelled by what's going on.
I like her.
I do too.
I think she's a cutie pie.
It could get lost in the shuffle sometimes.
A little bit. I mean, that's what Vincent Canby thought.
Yes.
That she could not recapture Miss Verdon's eccentric line.
Sure.
Eccentric
line's a great.
Yes. Calls MacLaine a dull, shapeless dancer and an ordinary singer. I mean, it's a little much.
Yeah.
This is the thing with Canby, though. Like, he often at a certain point is just like, why are there missiles falling? Like, he starts out being like, there's some problems with this movie. And by the end, you're like, you just insulted her family. Like, he could get kind of insane.
Yes.
But yeah, it says the movie too long, too noisy, dim imitation of its source material. This is kind of the reaction.
Right.
And the roadshow version, the 157-minute roadshow version with the overture, the intermission, the exit music, and all that, goes over really badly. And so they, as you say, they try to sort of like get a compressed version that can work.
I think this was a moment that's almost a little similar to what happened with 3D movies and what happens with IMAX now, where it was like the roadshow was like a very specific, reserved occasions, movies that could live up to that hype. It was, like a lot of fucking fanfare around it. You got a program. You were expected to dress up nicely. It was in great old theater, like movie palaces and shit, right?
Right.
The film's longer. You get a proper intermission, whatever. And it was like almost every film they had put in that format lived up to that format. And then there was sort of the IMAX thing where it's like, what if we start taking movies that weren't shot in IMAX and just blowing them up and saying this deserves to be an IMAX movie? And this is when the roadshow is starting to collapse as well. At the same time, the musical is starting to collapse. People are like, I don't need to pay extra for this. I can fucking wait and see this in 6 months with 20 minutes trimmed out of it, and I can wear a T-shirt or whatever.
Sweet Charity.
Sweet Charity.
It made, according to this, it finally scraped $8 million.
Okay.
But it was a bomb.
It was a bomb.
Do you guys want to talk about some of your favorite moments in the film?
I like when they sing "Hey Big Spender."
That was one of the standout songs where I was like, "Hey,
Big Spender."
I knew that song. Like that's like a part of our culture.
Yeah,
it's like a huge song.
This is a movie where we can actually go through the plot because it is just a series of musical numbers and like different men.
Yep,
right.
Pretty much. She's Charity. She's a taxi dancer.
Yeah.
She's only got $427 and she loses it in the first moment of the movie.
Her boyfriend's a fucking jerk.
Yeah, he's no good.
I want to say this guy sucks.
Do we want to rank the boys in
Yes.
terms of badness?
Yeah.
Because he's bottom.
He's Charlie.
He's the
right?
worst
Rock
one.
bottom.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Tattoo's pretty cool though.
And then
Her tattoo. Yeah.
And then I guess is Sammy Davis Jr. He doesn't romance her, but does he count as a boy? Because if so, he's number one.
Yeah, if we're saying like Sweet Charity boys, like who are the guys?
Because otherwise, you've got obviously Ricardo Montalban.
I was really charmed by
Vittorio.
Montalban. I know
he's very charming. He kind of blows it at the end there, but
he blows it. But there's something I don't know. That's like a real fucking Griffin night. You want to talk about some real Griffin shit? It's like, so do you hook up? No, I just stayed in the closet while they had sex with someone else. But then afterwards, they were nice to me.
And then you got John McMartin as Arthur.
Sure.
Sorry, as Oscar. Sorry. That's it. Those are really the boys. Yeah. Who's your favorite boy? I guess they're all bad. That's why I'm pro Sammy Davis Jr. Just bring him in.
Yeah, I mean, if we the other guy obviously is her boss.
Herman, Stubby K.
I mean, and what a name.
You were trying to get his name. I could have just told you. Yeah.
Who obviously played Nicely.
He originated Nicely. Which is the guy who sings "Sit Down, You Rock in the Boat," which is one of the
keep
greatest.
Him on the bench. What's this guy doing in your musical? Stands up, kills one fucking number at the end, sits back down.
Man.
He's a human cigar.
Yeah, and his name was Stubby K,
His
which was
name
actually not his birth name.
Oh, his name was Stubbard K.
His name was Bernard Kotzin.
Wow.
And would you believe this man was the son of Jewish immigrants into New York City? And he was raised in the Rockaways. Wow. And Stubby K. Sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Yeah.
I love that song.
I just think we're missing guys like this for movies today.
Well, it's like, who is it? It's like Josh Gad. It's like these people that Disney like picks up as like, you're the funny guy. You come in, you pop. And it's like, yeah.
Well, the other problem
Stubby
is,
K.
and I mean no disrespect when I say this, these days you're maybe hiring a Colin Farrell to play a Stubby K.
Well, that can happen. Well, I'm not sure if they're hiring a Colin Farrell. Who are you thinking of? What's a movie you're thinking of?
Well,
With like a funny sidekick role.
Let me think about that. I mean, like, I guess Leto in House of Gucci should have been played by a Stubby K.
Would have been fun. I'm a pigeon.
Yeah.
I must learn how to fly. Soar like a pigeon.
I think people want hunks to show that they can play a Stubby.
Mm.
And so let
you're thinking
Stubby
of the
be a
Penguin.
star.
Of course.
Well, and also, I mean, it's a different performance, but Horrible Bosses.
Yeah. But I think with Colin Farrell
I think both of those
specifically,
are good performances.
yeah, this the thing with Colin Farrell is it more seemed like he was like, can you put some shit on my face? I'm sick of people thinking I'm hot.
So fucking hot.
Right. Like it wasn't like I'm gonna prove to you, I'm not gonna declam. It was more just like hide me. Like,
yes, right. It feels when Colin Farrell does it, it feels more like Edward Cullen being like, "This is the skin of a monster."
Right. I don't want to be
I'm not
seen
beautiful.
anymore.
Jared Leto's like, "What if I
look like this?" Anyway, Stubby K. Yeah. So, Yeah, she's a dancer. Her boyfriend pushes her off the bridge in Central Park and steals her money.
No good, very bad, don't do it. One of the worst dates I've ever witnessed.
And then we go right into, hey, big spender. Which is done all like slow and drawn out.
I mean, this is when I just feel like you're not seeing musical numbers with this kind of energy. The amount of like fucking restraint in how long he takes to wind that thing up. The teasing.
There's nothing finer than a trumpet sounding like wow, 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 wow. There's just nothing better. It's so good.
I don't disagree, but I don't know why that was
one
funny.
Of the funniest things Ben has ever done.
It's not even it's an obvious point, and yet there was just something about how he put it.
He did the trumpet with his hand for the listener at home.
It is funny.
The plunger. They put a plunger at the end of it.
They sometimes do.
He didn't do the thing where he like blew on his thumb and pretended the hand was. It was one hand was gripping.
Yeah.
And the other one was the plunger.
I guess it is also funny that this instrument that we can use to like play sort of somber stuff at like a military funeral, right? Or like, and you know, this amazing jazz music, but it also go wop, wop. Like it is funny.
It just immediately is just like body sound.
Right. And that's what it means. It means like, yeah. Like who was that guy who was like, guys, I figured out if you put a thing in it, it does this noise.
You know that thing I used to unclog shit?
And all the other trumpet players are like, what?
What if I put that on top of the thing I blow into?
You can't do that. The trumpet is a noble instrument. Like, and then like guys are like, get this guy. This guy's good. Pay him money.
Is there an argument? Is there an argument? I want to ask. This is a serious question. This is a serious question. I want this to provoke spirited debate. Okay,
sure.
Is there an argument for the trumpet being the funniest instrument? Now, I know we're all riding high in the endorphins of, we've all been laughing. This trumpet run's been really fun, right?
Yeah, but obviously we can't ignore the tuba, the
tuba is kind of like,
because tuba's kind of, this is the big chungus of trumpet.
Yeah, and it's just, just a very comical thing.
It also looks so funny. It's funny that you have to wear it.
It's funny that you have to wear it. You operated a tuba, right?
I sure did. My band teacher took one look at me and said, tuba.
It's a real tuba.
Well, because you
got a tuba vibe.
Your band teacher would just throw the tuba at kids, and anyone who could actually support it. It was like, all right, that's your instrument, buddy.
Yeah.
I just think like hacky people will go to like triangle, xylophone, kazoo, like these fucking simplistic sort of childlike instruments, or like that's the funny thing, right?
Yeah, but the trumpet's actually sort of the secret powerhouse,
especially because it is taken seriously.
Yeah,
and it takes skill.
It does,
but it looks so fucking funny, and it makes robust fart sounds.
It does. It can do. That's what I'm saying. It can play taps,
resonant.
but it can do farts as well.
Okay,
Big Spender, I feel like, is the only number. Maybe if my friends could see me now, but like I feel like Big Spender is the only number in Sweet Charity that people are guaranteed to know today. Right?
It's a song, absolutely.
It's a song, right? Like that's the and it's like right at the start. It doesn't really have anything to do with the plot except just.
This is
we want you to spend money on us.
Right.
We're the girls.
Is Shirley
right?
Walker the one who does the single version of it? I mean, that's what's known is the I think
Shirley Bassey is who you mean, of course, right?
Yes. Fuck, Shirley Walker's the fucking Batman the animated series.
Is that right?
Yeah, Memoirs of Invisible Man. Shirley, right? Am I wrong?
You are correct about both Shirley Walker and yes, Shirley Bassey.
Okay,
who, Shirley Bassey. He loves gold. She's the Bond singer.
Who is she talking about? Who loves gold?
Goldfinger.
No, but
only gold. It is still just funny that song is called Goldfinger, and she's like, he loves gold, only gold. He loves gold, only gold. He loves gold. That's like the last minute of the song is just her saying that.
It's intensifying,
and you're like, I get it. She's like, gold, and you're like, okay. Anyway,
no,
Shirley
but
Bassey,
this song becomes like a crossover like pop hit.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So its legacy, I think, like when Ben's watching this movie and
And
this
it's like
comes
a
on,
2-minute song. It's not like a long song.
right. Your reaction is like, holy shit, Hey Big Spender's from this? That's what this song is?
Yep, definitely.
It's not even like, I think most people wouldn't associate with it, even though probably everyone knows this song.
Right. True. Other people who covered it, Chaka Khan, apparently, Bette Midler, Peggy Lee, Jennifer Love Hewitt in a promo for her TV series The Client List.
Hey Big Spender.
That was one of those sort of like, ooh, behind the scenes of escorts or whatever, right? Anyway.
NBC is ready to show you a shoulder on primetime television.
Right? I think it was Lifetime, actually.
Oh, really?
And
2 shoulders.
You know, I think it's just kind of a funny song.
It's a very funny song.
Right? Like, isn't like it's a song you can do on SNL.
Yes.
Sort of. Because of the noise. And I don't know. Because of the word big, maybe.
But but it's also, there's something very alert. It's a song that's really kind of like giving you a come hither finger.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. But it feels that way musically as well. You know, like there's something about it. I also think it's one of those songs where the lyrics are so clean and clear and directly verbalized.
Sure.
That you like know all the words to the song before you finish listening to it the first time.
I know. I just loaded up Rich Man's Frog. You're right. You know, even if you've never heard it before, basically.
Right.
The next big number is Rich Man's Frog.
Which, did you have the exact same realization I did?
Go ahead.
Every single move in this number is repurposed somewhere in the Austin Powers trilogy.
Yes.
This feels like this was one of the single biggest influences on Mike Myers. The 3 main guys are all wearing the fucking Austin Powers outfit, and every fucking move. As a kid who watched those movies too much, I'm like, they literally repurpose every single gesture.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
But can I just say, is a broader thing, I just love the idea of like a bunch of rich people doing a dance about how rich and fancy they are.
Yeah, and this is what it is.
Yes. Yeah, whether it's like, oh, this is what rich people do. They're all like,
right. It's not a ballroom dance. It's
right.
Right.
Yes. They're all doing like weird interpretive dance. The camera's going
like this is what you want the Skull and Bones Club to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone looks like, yes, Peter Fonda dressed as Austin Powers, basically. Right? Like is that, you know, I love the giant menu. The menu that's like weirdly big.
Yeah.
Love it. That's sort of like Gallagher-esque prop comedy.
Yeah.
Do you think Gallagher was ripping off this movie?
Yeah, absolutely. But
remember when Ben said the trumpet thing?
Do you ever that feeling of something like that happens in an episode and you're like, at least we got that.
This has been absolute shit, but at least Ben said that.
At least we got that. That episode's earned its keep.
You know, like the dance move that's like you kind of freeze like an Egyptian painting and then you kind of like slide.
Yes.
I like when they do that.
Yeah, I feel like, look, there's a lot of musicals, especially 60s and 70s. I mean, American in Paris has this as well, to Sing in the Rain, where it's like, you do the extended, like,
he's maniac.
10-minute just dance sequence, right?
Plotless.
Right.
Not even really singing.
Right.
No main characters are involved, really.
No,
it's just a bunch of dancers.
Right. Either it's like a dream sequence, so it's removed from the plot, or no main characters are involved and the main characters are watching it happen, or whatever it is. I feel like most of them save this for like the third act.
Right.
It's kind of wild that this happens in the first 30 minutes.
But the dancing evokes stuff.
Yes,
do you know what I mean, guys? Because like I'm like,
yeah.
I poo-pooed this as a young man, a kid, couldn't pay attention.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're saying stuff with their bodies.
It's so cool.
They sure are.
Yeah,
Communicate.
I'm trying to even think how I would describe this dance. It's almost like a rich man's frog.
I'm rewatching it. I'm just having
so fucking
a great time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Imagine like being one of the rich people though, and then fucking up your dance move, and everyone's mad at you. That's what I'd be worried about. Everyone's like doing this, and you're like doing this, and they're like, Sims.
What's the other reason why? Like, I mean, and this is a sequence where he lets it play out in long takes,
yes,
right?
Definitely,
because he does want to just showcase the choreography.
Yeah,
the
choreography is so spectacular, and it's so visually. And then like he does sort of a hair thing where like the color goes negative. Wait, it's about that.
Right.
You know, that's that kind of stuff.
Man, you know what's another thing?
Sort of
he does that's
psychedelia.
kind of incredible. Because even like classical golden age movie musicals, we use camera movements a lot as a part of their choreography, right? You put the camera on a track and you have these kind of crazy,
absolutely,
right? Or you dolly around or whatever. I feel like he is able to make whip zooms feel like choreography.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are like rhythmic zooms in this movie.
Yeah. The zooms are really important. They're really cool. And the zooms in and out sometimes.
Yes, right, right.
And freezing like, like an image and then moving it around.
But then sometimes the people will freeze.
Yeah.
Right. There's that sequence it's after she gets out of the park when she's walking to her job. That is just the series of like the freeze frames.
It'll freeze frame, and then the audio is moving and stuff like. It's very cool.
He's just throwing every fucking technique at the board. Like he's just, what can I do?
But yes, she meets Vittorio Vitale, played by a younger Ricardo Montalban. He's not exactly young, but he's in his late 40s, I think.
Right.
Killing it.
We're just, it's the peak of Hollywood saying anyone who isn't Anglo-Saxon is allowed to play anyone else.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
You're Jewish, you play a Mexican. You're Mexican, you play an Italian man. You're Spanish, you play a Jew. Like everyone's the same. If you aren't an Anglo-Saxon with a transatlantic accent.
Yes.
But he sort of plays Marcello Mastroianni type.
Right. He's just broken up with his girlfriend. He's a big fancy movie star, and he takes her to this club, takes her to his apartment.
What do you believe? A guy like that, paying attention to a girl like her.
And so she does a big song about how she can't believe she's in this apartment. And it's called If They Could See Me Now.
Yeah.
And she's dancing around.
Dances with the coat hanger.
Yep. The painting. She dances by a big painting.
Yeah.
She's got the hat, obviously. His hat. She does a lot of hat stuff.
The cane.
The hat.
It's kind of popping the hat.
The collapsible hat. Yeah.
Why don't you have a collapsible hat?
I was asking myself that same
You
question.
need to get one.
I wrote collapsible hat ?
Yeah.
It's sort of the classic Sweet Charity situation, right? Things are looking great.
Yeah.
A guy is interested in her. Things are looking up.
But it's that
and then
thing
immediately
also.
something weird and humiliating happens to her. Yeah.
And she's just like sort of like, gee Willikers fascinated by all the rich fancy person shit around her.
Mhm.
Like, look at all this movie star shit you have. There's that line she has where she's like, you took back to his apartment, but it wasn't an apartment. It was like I like that she's sort of more fascinated that she is dejected.
Yeah.
When the ex-girlfriend that he's complaining about.
Yeah, she rolls with this punch. Ursula is the ex-girlfriend. Okay. She's still returning home to the girls being like, I spent the night with a movie star, and they're like, you just got his hat and his
Right. They're like, you don't understand that he took advantage of you. And she's like, he didn't take advantage of
It
me.
was
And they're like,
fun.
then that's depressing. And they're like, it wasn't depressing. I had a good time. I slept in a closet.
Yes. But
That dumbwaiter though, when he brings up supper,
yeah.
What a move. Someone brings me supper in a dumbwaiter
and calls it supper.
That's
That's a classy
I'm
dinner.
sold.
And even
signed, sealed, delivered.
When she walks out of the closet and she sees,
Then we'll put out for a dumbwaiter. Yes. What?
We'll podcast for supper. When she walks out of the closet and she sees Ursula lying naked in the bed, and her reaction is just like, those are unbelievable sheets.
Yeah.
It's funny.
There's no sense of like jealousy.
No, I feel like she does. Because it's right then that she goes to the employment agency. She does have some sense of like, I gotta figure it out. But yeah, she doesn't take it hard.
I think it's less about that she didn't end up with him and more about she was like, God, it'd be cool to have that kind of life.
Right. She wants to be fancy.
Can I go legit?
There's something about the way she's dressed throughout. I mean, she's kind of wearing the same trench coat with a black dress, but it made me think a lot of like how when you're trying to fit in these spaces, like, that it's almost like you got to wear like really simple classic stuff.
Sure.
And there was just something about how she still sticks out, but is kind of nondescript in the way that she's dressed.
Yeah.
But you can tell like she doesn't belong there. She doesn't fit in.
Yeah. But also, like, this would be the coolest looking lady in Brooklyn today.
Oh my God, people would be fucking falling over themselves trying to get her attention.
Right.
She goes to an employment agency. She has no special skills. She kind of gets chased out of there when she admits that she's a taxi dancer. And then she meets a guy in the elevator, and the elevator gets stuck.
Intermission.
And they have a whole thing. But the whole sequence in the elevator is so good. Because obviously he's now the funny one.
Right.
Because he's having a meltdown.
Right.
She's very sweet where she's just like, I guess this is happening to me now. Like, I think she's very winning in this scene.
And the comedic business leads to her doing this musical number about his face, like manipulating his face while he's passed out.
It's cute.
Such a bizarre stretch of
It
a
is.
movie, and to then like make it a fucking cliffhanger in the middle. It's so funny.
Yeah. It's a nice face. The song is called It's a Nice Face.
It is.
Yeah, it's a nice face.
Can I say this thing? And I don't mean this backhandedly in any way.
Yeah.
This performance does have that thing. I feel like unmistakably, you sometimes see in a movie musical where you're like, this is the person who must have done it on Broadway.
Sure, I guess
There's just a familiarity. There's an ease with it. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like someone is like trying to pop really hard. It's like they're just working as
They know
part
what
of the
they're doing.
show.
Yeah,
They just
no,
know
no.
what they're doing. They're serving the show.
Yeah.
Versus like Shirley MacLaine, this is like, I got to prove something.
Mm-hmm. No, I think
I need
you're
to
right.
pull off a musical, you know?
Yeah, and he's very funny.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's precise what
Yeah,
he's doing.
yeah.
And it's such a type, that kind of like nebbish who's in analysis in the late 60s. Like there's it's a very Neil Simon type,
Yeah.
obviously.
Imagine if it was Alan Alda. The elevator, what do you mean?
I mean, I can't
I
do
can't do
Alda,
that. I
but
can't
it
do
would
the
be really good. And then they start going out.
Elevator.
They
I
do a
can't
bunch
do
of
that.
normal shit, and also he's like, "Why don't we go to some alternative church where Sammy Davis Jr. is going to do a number for us?"
Right.
It's truly like now people would be like, "Was this ADR this line where he's like, let's go to my church," and they
Right.
just drive?
Well, because
and
there's
it's
this
like,
whole church
they are
sequence
not seen while
in
Sammy
Knights of
Davis Jr.
Cabiria, but
sings
like
the rhythm of life.
the
Yeah.
church they go to hasn't been taken over by the Electric Mayhem.
It's good. I'm not complaining.
It's great. It's like
Yes.
such a like reference to Electric Dayglow, like
Yes.
Ken Kesey, right? All that stuff. I just love that it's just referencing the 60s in that way.
Yeah, it's the end of the 60s. There's a lot of hippies in this.
That was like happening at that time.
But you don't like hippies.
I don't like.
And this movie's got some.
You like Sammy?
Yeah, you do like Sammy. I mean, these are more druggy hippies.
I like
so
acid
that's
heads.
more right. This
Yeah,
is more.
They're
on
more
your-
my speed.
Right.
Yeah. But I love the joke of kind of justifying it, where he's like, "Yeah, it's my Church of the Month club or something." And like, I feel like they're kind of joking about basically the spiritualism
Sure.
movement of the 60s and how there really were just all of these weird little kind
Yeah.
of like alternative religions and churches and wellness things.
Absolutely.
Like,
There could be
springing up.
something more than just regular old Sunday.
But once again, what we're talking
services.
about, like a pretty much a 10-minute sequence in which our main characters watch a musical number with characters who will have no bearing on the rest of the film,
Which is fun.
which is fun. It's just fucking showcase shit.
And it's called The Rhythm of Life.
Yeah.
And it's Sammy Davis Jr.
What an
having a blast.
entertainer. Look,
He's
I know I'm
a
not saying
great
anything
entertainer.
new here, but you watch this guy and you're like, oh, right. People used to like know how to do stuff. David, you haven't seen RRR yet, right?
No. I actually booked tickets to see it. I'll see if I actually get to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw it with a friend of the show, past and future guest Brendan Hines,
Mhm.
and his wife,
Mhm.
and humble brag.
Yep.
And afterwards, she just put it perfectly, where she was just like, "Those actors can do anything."
Right. Well, that's the Bollywood thing.
Right.
They can sing, they can dance, they can do action
Yeah,
sequences.
comedy,
They're-
you can do drama, they can do
Right, yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr. It's the same thing where you're just like, this guy was trained,
Yeah.
skilled, innate talent, but also just trained to be able to do anything.
Right.
And always grab your fucking attention.
Yeah. That's sort of how British actors are, or at least used to be. Like this, the same kind of like you've been given every string to your bow, right? Like you have to learn to do accents, to dance, to do comedy, to sing, to
No,
right.
like honestly, look, still watching like Benedict Cumberbatch on SNL,
Mhm.
you're like, he has a comedic facility that is different than dramatic American actors.
It's just true.
It clearly was part of his training. And the fact that so many like British drama school serious actors also have to be part of a comedy troupe.
Yeah.
And have a sketch background. And then like Andrew Garfield, like magically being a good singer in Tick, Tick, Boom. And they're like, did you have singing experience? He's like, no, but I've like trained my voice before.
Okay.
I just worked on it for a month.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the plot is, and the second act is really nothing because it's just them dating for a while.
Yes.
There's that nice sequence in the subway station where they want to, like, they're gonna kiss through the bars. My wife
Oh,
was
yeah.
going like, ugh, don't touch the bars. Like, and then after that is when she finally reveals, like, oh, I'm a taxi dancer, and he already knew, and he's been kind of trying to be
That's
cool with it.
yes.
But
But he
and
loves
initially
him
is like, I'm
nonetheless.
cool with it. So they
That
throw
scene
her
at
a
the
big
diner where they're sitting in the opposite booths in the opposite directions.
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
They keep doing that bit.
very funny bit.
Yeah.
And the whole birthday thing is cute. It's not my favorite part of the movie.
Dude, the song when she goes like it's basically like the song about someone loves me.
That's
Yes.
Oh
okay.
man, that's when I started to get a little
I
teary.
want to say this is secretly maybe my favorite number in the movie.
Mhm.
I find something so. I mean, I really like that song.
Yes.
What is it? I'm a brass
I'm
band.
a brass band. The
Yeah.
one where she's, initially crying, and then she's like in Yankee Stadium, and there's a brass band going all around her, and she's at Lincoln Center, and there's fountains going off, and we're moving around New York City.
But this is also the sequence that like starts to set the template for what Fosse's gonna do, which is like the non-diegetic musical. The
Mhm.
musical numbers are the inner life,
Yeah.
right? This is clearly taking place in its own reality. Even in a movie where we accept that people break into song and dance, this is a fantasy sequence. And I think that's the number that serves her best as a musical performer.
Sure.
I think that plays to her strengths.
Yes.
Yeah. I found it very sweet. It was very touching. I don't know. You fucking know that feeling, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a magical feeling.
If there is like an arc to this movie, it is a story about trying to convince yourself that you are lovable.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That you are worthy of being loved.
Against
Like that is the
Right.
battle.
Yeah, against whatever internal, handicaps you give yourself. Oh, no one's ever going
Right.
to love me because blah blah blah.
We should at least touch upon the gender politics of it. Because I mean, it's obviously a movie of its time, but watching it now, I mean, it's crazy. But
Sure.
I understand where it's all coming from, but it really is like,
Well, you mean that she's like, I'm not going to be a complete person until someone marries me.
oh man, that like all of that stuff.
He does acknowledge that it's a rude question.
Yes.
And she's like, no, it's not a rude question. Like, but it obviously you're like, Jesus.
Like
But-
even the shot, that little insert shot of him looking at the
tattoo.
like all of that really didn't sit well with me.
Yeah,
It made
it
me feel
sucks.
gross.
Yeah.
It's a 50-year-old movie.
No, I know. I just felt like we should just mention it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Look, but I'll say this. I do think this is a movie that takes her side, that argues that she is lovable.
Absolutely. The movie is on her
and
side.
that he is weak for holding
should
that
get
against
over
her.
it.
You do watch a lot of films of this era where anyone who has slept with more than 3 people is coded as like
But
unsalvageable.
the movie also knows, and you kind of know in the back of your head, like, right, he's not going to be able to deal with
course.
this. Especially once he says he's cool with it, and the whole group is like, great, and they do the whole birthday, the I love to cry at weddings thing. Not birthday, what am I, wedding thing.
Yeah.
Where you just are me like, he doesn't like
Stubby.
this. He doesn't want to hang out with Stubby K. Yeah,
No, it's
exactly.
like
yeah.
that's what I like about it. That even it's just like the weird like seediness of Stubby is a thing he
Yeah.
like. He's like too waspy for Stubby. Even putting aside the like promiscuity of the environment,
Wait.
Stubby's just a little too. Yeah.
He was also, that actor, Stubby K, was also in the 1956 musical Lil Abner.
Fuck. Playing what?
He played Marion Sam.
I still find that Lil Abner was one of those comic strips that was just like this town and these people, and then also this like goop.
There's a goop?
Wasn't there a like creature named like Smoo or something? Lil Abner. I swear to God, there's a creature named like Smoo,
I don't.
and I think there's Smoo Junior.
Yes, they're called gobbleglops,
Okay.
and they eat rubbish, or as they call it, glop. They cannot be touched. They're living incinerators. Waste goes in and nothing comes out. That is insane. What the hell? There's
Right?
there's shmoos as well. There's lots of
The Shmoos are the ones I was thinking.
yeah. The shmoo is this thing.
Yeah, they look like goop.
Yeah, it's
They
funny.
look like Stubby Kale.
Yeah, well, I'm not really in touch with any of that. But that's cool.
You don't fuck with Shmoos?
No, I don't fuck with shmoos. But not that there's anything wrong with them.
Yeah, please. Let's try to approach this with a modern mindset, David.
Look, Oscar turns her down. He can't do it, right? She's wearing this gorgeous dress with daisies on it. It's so
Yes.
cute.
Yeah.
She walks sadly through Central Park,
Mhm.
and a bunch of hippies kind of, including.
Little Bud Cort.
Oh, is that true?
This is maybe his first movie.
I mean, he can't have been that old.
There's a close-up shot of him. I don't even know if he gets a line. There's a
Sweet
close-up
Charity.
shot.
It's his second. Well, he played a student in Up the Down Staircase the year before. He's uncredited in this as well, but this is his second role.
Yeah, but there is a close-up. You can see him with the classic glasses.
And 1 year later, he is Brewster McCloud,
And
and he's in MASH. And
why do I always forget his character? Because he's not Raider or
he's
Riley.
Boone in MASH. Yeah, Lorenzo Boone. But yeah, little Bud Cort. You know Bud Cort? You know Harold and Maude?
Yeah.
Sure.
You saw
Yeah.
Bruce McCloud too.
Oh, I've seen it.
You did. We went to see it together.
Yeah,
The
we saw it with my
Metro Drive.
dad, and the two of you went. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I guess some real Griffin.
And your
shit.
dad was like, "That movie's weird." And you were like, "Yeah, it's like this movie we saw together." Where we were, and he's like, "Yeah, I know, it's just weird."
I was like, I grew up with you telling me it's one of your favorite movies of all time, and he was like, I know, is that fucking weird?
But what do you think of these hippies, Ben? I was just I was just
yeah,
watching
you're
it, and I
really-
was like, I was very into the moment, and while also being like, God, must have been annoying in the '60s. These flower children just walking around with guitars, handing people daffodils and shit.
To be honest, I was too in my feels to really
Yeah.
get caught up
Well, you're a
on the
sap now.
hippies. I am kind of a sap now.
Yeah.
It's true. It's really happened with age.
Join the club.
I've joined the club, but
Yeah.
just at the end there, I'm like, life is just so fucking hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But you get through it, right? It's a new day. The sun comes up, and you just got to keep walking.
Yeah.
Man, it's so profound but so simple. I don't know.
Look, it's fucking.
I cried like a baby.
It's a thing that almost always works for me in moments. It's like the fucking Ursula giving Peter Parker the cake moment, where you're just like, just one isolated act of kindness from a stranger who owes you nothing, and you just go like, "Fuck it, yeah, no, I'm gonna live another day."
Ursula's a babe.
Ursula rules. We'll have talked about her for 4.5 hours.
I hope
by
we
this
do.
point.
No,
Yeah.
not 4.5 hours though. No.
We're doing a main feed bonus Ursula episode.
Great, sure. That's what we'll do. Yeah, no, it's a lovely ending. I love the ending. It makes me very, it's perfect.
Yeah,
It
It's
is.
as it should be, I think. Obviously it'd be insane for there to be a happy ending, but like I just like it it's also not too miserable.
David,
Yes.
school's out for summer.
True.
Your wife must be thrilled.
She is.
That's her job,
Yeah, she's a teacher.
right? And
Does
she's
she
out for
play
summer.
that song?
She should. She should play that song.
She should.
School, but then it says school's out forever, which is not true.
At the
Of
moment
course.
we're recording this, her school year is done, correct? Has it finally happened?
You are correct.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, we love it.
Wearing sunglasses around the house.
Pretty much.
Sunscreen on the nose.
Yeah, zinc on the nose.
Drinking out of coconut with a little
Yeah,
umbrella.
Big hat with corks, or something like hanging off of it.
Well, David,
yeah, what's up?
I sure hope that her business isn't running QuickBooks, because if it was running QuickBooks, she would never get a break.
I can't speak to whether or not the Department of Education runs QuickBooks, but I understand what you're talking about, of course, because QuickBooks is manual processes, integration difficulties, and glitchy delays leave you scrambling
Ugh.
for the numbers you need
Ugh.
most of the time.
I hate the QuickBooks scramble. We all know that.
What you got to do is you got to graduate to NetSuite.
Oh.
That's going to get you partying while the QuickBooks guys are stuck in
right.
summer
The
school.
metaphor
We're going with this
here
metaphor.
is that like
Right.
Spicoli is stuck on QuickBooks.
I
And
guess
Mr.
so.
Hand is like, try NetSuite, my boy.
Right. I mean, look,
Aloha.
NetSuite, it's by Oracle. It's the world's #1 cloud ERP. No matter how big your business grows,
Mhm.
it's got visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place.
Yeah, you automate your processes with NetSuite and you close your books in no time. Is there any better feeling than closing a book?
I love to close a book.
Done.
93% of surveyed businesses increased their visibility and control since graduating from QuickBooks to NetSuite, since putting on that mortarboard and moving the tassel over. That's
David.
what you do when you graduate.
Absolutely. Thing I've never experienced. David?
Graduated from like high school.
Barely. I think it's been called into
you were
question.
asked to leave.
I truly, when I walked up on stage and they handed me the diploma, the principal of the high school kind of gave me a look like, did this really fucking happen? Are we actually letting you graduate?
Even in my hippie school, I can't believe this is happening. Yeah.
I know. She was like, what a systemic failing. David, I don't mean to be rude or
Okay.
forward,
Sure.
but I must read this call to action right now.
Go ahead.
Right now, at this moment, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program, so graduating has never been easier.
Head to netsuite.com/check right now.
That's special financing at netsuite.com/check.
netsuite.com/check.
She is kind of bossy, brown face.
Maybe.
She was notoriously bossy.
Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I love her in terms of endearment. Very bossy in that.
Well, yes, but I'm saying, look, still is. She's still with us, but no, there were all the stories where everyone who worked with her was like, that's like the toughest person I've ever worked with.
Cool.
Don Siegel did
I'm
fucking
scared of her.
Yeah, truly. Like, I'll find that quote. There was a Don Siegel quote that is
I'll find it.
unbelievable about Shirley MacLaine.
I'll find it,
I'm
and then
from
we'll
Two Meals
play
with Sister
the
Sarah.
box office game. 2 Meals for Sister Sarah, indeed, is the movie. I don't know what this quote is, though.
I'm going to find it. You pull up the box office game. I'm going to find it.
I pulled it up.
Okay.
We're ready to go. Here we go.
Okay.
I think this is what you mean. It's hard to feel any great warmth to her. She's too unfeminine and has too many balls. Too much balls. She's very, very hard. Is that the quote you mean?
Yeah.
It's on It's on his Wikipedia.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
He thought she had big balls.
She had big ass balls.
This film opened in April 1969.
Okay.
Nice. And it actually opened to number 6 at the box office.
Okay.
So it's not in our top 5, but it is, it is opening big-ish.
Sure. Roadshow.
Right. But number 1 is a Disney family comedy.
Live action?
Live action.
Is it a Fred McMurray?
Nope.
It's not. Is it Apple Dumpling King?
Nope.
Is it a Herbie?
That's right.
Is it the original?
Yeah, what's that called?
The Love Bug?
The
Just
Love
called
Bug.
The Love Bug, right? Yeah.
Dean Jones.
Dean Jones. That's like you got to go through it. You're like, is it a Tim Conway? Is it a Fred McMurray?
Right.
Is
There
it a
weren't
Dean
too many
Jones?
of
Is it a
them.
Don Knotts?
Yeah, Don Knotts, I guess. What's his
Right.
pants? Kurt Russell eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Herbie, the Love Bug. I've never seen it. And you know what? Maybe I have seen this.
I
one.
definitely
You ever seen it?
saw
No.
all of these as a kid. Disney Channel used to have so few movies in rotation. I definitely saw all of them. There's Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, Herbie in Love.
Yeah.
I have seen all of them.
It's a talking car.
Herbie Rides Again.
He doesn't
Herbie
talk,
Goes
but he's
Bananas.
magical. Right.
They redid the Love Bug, of course, in this 90s with Bruce Campbell, of all people.
Right.
And then, of course, they did Herbie Fully Loaded
Right.
in 2000s with Lindsay Lohan and Michael
Herbie
Keaton.
Goes to Monte Carlo and Herbie in Love do exist, right? I didn't make up those
I'm not
titles.
seeing Herbie in Love. I'm seeing that he went to he wrote again, of course.
Of course.
Then he went to Monte Carlo, as we
Yeah.
all do. And then he went bananas.
He must fall in
but I
love
think
in
that
one
might
of
be
them.
it.
I remember a movie where he flirts with a female car. But he
But-
doesn't talk. He's just a car that's like imbued with like some spirit.
Doctor
He's got a
Strange
little
rides again.
personality.
Doctor Strange goes to Monte Carlo. Doctor Strange goes banana. I think it's just a good. You could put
It's
it to
great.
anything. It's a
Yeah.
good 4.
Yes, I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Batman goes to Monte Carlo. Of course. Yeah.
Right.
Batman
Fully
goes
loaded.
bananas. Yes.
World War goes to Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Oh,
World War
dear.
goes.
The Love Bug, a huge hit.
Yeah, humongous.
Starring
Clearly a fucking franchise.
starring Dean Jones, who I best known as the original Bobby and Company.
Of course.
He's on the Broadway cast album, even though he
Uh,
quit the role almost immediately because he was like, this is too too dark, too
Really?
too
Wow.
sexy. Yep.
We're gonna do a Herbie on Patreon.
No, we're not.
Yep, we're-
Nope. That's a no from me. No.
Okay. Yes.
Number 2 is another musical.
From 69. Is it Hello Dolly?
No, but that's the
Okay.
correct star.
Is it Funny Lady?
No.
Fuck. Is
It's-
it On a Clear Day You Can See Forever?
No, it's Funny Girl.
Oh. Okay.
In its 28th week. It's just eaten.
Wow.
I guess Barbra Streisand probably has just won an Oscar if this is April 69
Sure.
because it was a 68 movie. So
Wow. Okay.
Hello Beautiful. That's what she said to the
Oh,
Oscar.
beautiful. Yeah.
Funny Girl.
Mhm.
Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
Omar Sharif.
Yeah.
It's a William Wyler film.
Yeah.
There you go.
One of the rare musicals to get a theatrical sequel. Like a weird thing.
That's true. Very weird to get her. Yeah. And of course, Babs tied with Katharine Hepburn that year. Very
Right.
strange.
Right. Very strange.
Number 3 at the box office is a war film.
Imagine how nervous you would feel. Because in my memory, they go like, it's a tie, and they announce one of them, and then they let him give the speech, and then they announce the other one.
I can't imagine that's what they did. They must have.
I feel
announced
like that's how it
both.
played. Because if you're like 1 of 5 and then they announce the winner, but they tell you someone else's one, and you're like, now I have a 1 in 4 shot? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
My memory is they stagger it.
I'm gonna watch it right now.
There they are, the best actresses of 1968.
Ingrid Bergman.
Katharine
I was going to
Hepburn
get.
In The Lion in Winter, Patricia Neal, for the subject was Roses.
I wish
Vanessa
Ingrid Bergman could
Redgrave
say my name
for
like this.
Isadora,
Griffin
Barbra
Noman,
Streisand,
blank check
Funny
of Griffin
Girl,
and
Barbra
Noman.
Streisand holding
Joanne
Elliot Gould's hand.
Woodward for Rachel.
Hot.
Elliot, yeah, it is pretty hot.
Yeah.
Elliot Gould looking insane.
The photo of them in the fucking
The
swamp.
that's
winner,
classic,
it's a tie.
Who? Gasps.
The winners are
Ingrid Bergman, I want to say, looks
Catherine
genuinely
in
charmed and
Lion
surprised
in
by
the
this. I'm going to
Winter
show you her
and-
This is the first time
reaction.
this ever happened. Right?
Certainly in a major category.
Yeah.
It's the only time it's ever happened,
Yeah.
really.
Wow. She's holding her chest. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Wild, right?
So Babs gets on stage first.
Yeah. And does
Did
Hepburn
they-
just wait for her?
and
Or is Hepburn
then
not there?
I'm
Or
not-
did they just say it at the same time? Did they both just make a speech
They
simultaneously?
yell at each other. It looks. This clip is only of her speech. I don't know if Hepburn was. Maybe
weird.
Hepburn wasn't even there.
Maybe Hepburn was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Number 3 at the box office is a war film.
Mm-hmm.
2 huge stars.
2 huge stars in a war film.
This is
in
not a famous movie.
1969. It's not a famous movie. Is one of them John Wayne?
No, it's a famous movie, but I'm saying like this. I don't think this film is considered a classic, but its title is like the kind of title people would know for something like heroic sounding. I don't know.
Fuck.
It's hard to describe. I don't think you're gonna get it.
Is Eastwood one of the 2 stars?
Yes.
Is it Where Eagles Dare?
It's Where Eagles Dare. There you go.
It's a
Who's
good
the other
title.
star? It's a good title.
Fuck. The other star Where Eagles Dare is I'm totally
A
blanking.
famous Welshman.
Famous. Well, is it Connery? No, Connery's
It's Connery
Scottish.
Scott.
What the fuck am I talking
Richard
about?
Burton.
Oh, okay.
If I say famous Welshman, it's 2 people: Richard Burton or Anthony Hopkins. Probably those are the 2 famous Welshmen. Yep. Where Eagles Dare. Never seen.
How would you know that though?
Has a fight on top of a cable car.
Hmm.
Yeah, sounds exciting.
One of those movies I just probably will never see in my life.
Probably not. Probably not going to get to it.
No
It's
offense.
155 minutes.
I'm like sorry to
long.
this man, but I don't think I'm ever gonna watch this.
Number 4 at the box office
Yeah. Okay.
is another musical.
Mhm.
One that we forgot to mention in
Oh.
discussion of late 60s musicals. It won Best Picture the prior year.
Oliver.
Oliver! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
You ever seen that?
Nope.
No? It's about little ragamuffins who
Scam.
steal.
Pickpockets.
You've got to pick
Oh,
a pocket
fun.
or 2, you know.
They have a song about pickpocketing?
Have you
Ben.
never seen Oliver
I've
at any
never seen
form?
any musicals.
Ben, the
I
whole
know who
fucking
Oliver
thing's
Twist
about
is. You've heard of
pickpocketing.
Oliver
Oh,
Twist.
yes, I
Sure.
know
You know
Oliver
this
Twist.
kid, right?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
They-
Chimney Sweep. He is.
No, he's
No,
a
he's not.
pickpocket.
Oh,
Ben just reacted like we were throwing things at. Like he recoiled physically as if we had chucked a tomato at his head.
No, he's Oliver Twist. He's a little pickpocket.
He's a pickpocket.
He's an orphan who
That's the
gets
whole fucking thing.
sucked in by a boy called the Artful Dodger.
He gets taken
Oh,
in by
wow.
other pickpockets.
I mean, this
And
is all
Fagin.
this is all
Yeah.
connecting strands here for me, but I
Consider
don't know.
yourself.
I don't know.
At home. It's a great show, and it's a good movie, but it's Carol Reed, obviously a master, but it's like, kind of one of
Kind a
those
weird
late
Best Picture winner.
60s. It's a
fine.
weird Best
I
Picture
think it's
winner.
fine.
It's one of those Best Picture winners where right, isn't it the 68 Oscars is now I have to look it up, but it's
It's the most conventional winner.
it's the most conventional
out
winner, and isn't that
Right.
Bonnie and Clyde year and stuff? I have to look this up.
of- is that?
Consider yourself,
Fair?
or is it 69? I can't remember.
I think it's 69
Or is it-
because fucking Dr. Doolittle's in the Bonnie or Clyde year. Am I wrong about that?
You are correct. Yeah. So,
Right.
yeah, right. It's actually a much more boring lineup.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
Romeo and Juliet, Rachel, good movie. Lion in Winter, and Funny Girl. So,
Yeah. Okay. So that's like a pretty. That's
It's a
pretty,
consensus-y
Yeah.
winner,
Yeah.
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 all right, number 5 of the box office is, well, I just mentioned it. It was in the Best Picture night. It's a drama,
Is it Lion in Winter?
The Lion in Winter.
Huge box office success.
It was. I mean,
Kids
it's a
were
movie
rushing.
that is, I've seen it, and I love British history.
Sure.
It's not the fastest moving movie I've ever seen. It's just one of those things where you're just watching Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn. Go for it. And Anthony Hopkins is really good in it too.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Like it's just acting. I've got a beard and a big robe with fur on it.
movie.
I'm
Yeah.
the king.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, and I'm Eleanor of Aquitaine. I don't know what she does.
Sure.
They're getting old. It's one of the many movies about Katharine Hepburn getting old that she just sort of kept doing.
Right. Well, they're lions in winter, one could say.
That's what they are.
Sure.
The Lion, and have you ever seen it? No.
I've never seen him.
Anthony Harvey film. So number 6 is Sweet Charity.
Wow.
Number 7 is a film called The Killing of Sister George,
Mm-hmm.
which is a black comedy from Robert Aldrich. Aldrich.
Sure.
Starring Beryl Reed and Susanna York. It's a stage play that's being that was marketed on stage as a comedy, but is being marketed as a film as a shocking drama and added explicit lesbian content and was presented as a serious treatment of lesbianism.
Wait
This was like an early film to acknowledge that girls might kiss.
And they kiss in the movie? Oh, what's the name of this title again?
I don't know. It had an X rating because of a graphic sex scene. Wikipedia. How graphic was this sex scene? What are we talking about here?
Yes.
I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
movie-
controversial film.
This movie is seen as a flop. And people go, maybe Fosse. Another in a long line of people who don't make the transition. Worked really well on one medium. I guess he's not a picture director.
I guess it has nudity. All right. It was a big shocking scene. Sorry, I'm stuck on this. Killing of Sister George.
Remind me what the name of this movie is?
The Killing of Sister George.
Okay, thank you.
There's also a film called 100 Rifles.
Okay.
A Western
Mhm.
with Raquel Welch and Jim Brown.
Yep.
Oh, it's got a good tagline.
Fuck.
This picture has a message, : watch out.
Shit.
They got 100 rifles, I guess.
Yeah.
Also Romeo and Juliet, the
That's a Farrelly movie.
correct. And Charlie, the Cliff Robertson
Oh,
movie.
so he wins Best Actor this?
He wins Best Actor this year playing, sort of Flowers for Algernon guy who
yes.
gets super smart.
Yes.
Right? That's what it's about, right? I've
Yeah.
never seen it.
Yeah, yes.
I've only seen the Simpsons episode that's a parody of it, where Homer
Right.
gets super smart.
And it's a Born Legacy, which is a remake of it.
Yes, exactly.
Give me my chems.
I need my chems. Limitless. That's another one.
Was it I feel like 10 years ago, Will Smith announced he was going to remake Charlie, and it was such a clear, Will, don't do this.
Yeah, well, that's better. You don't want to play like a simple person who gets
Right,
smart.
Who gets so smart.
Because the thing with Limitless is he's starting regular and then gets smart.
Yeah,
Right.
Limitless,
In Charlie, it's supposed to be he's someone with low IQ who
Right.
gets smart.
Limitless, he's just a mess. Yes. Now, Ben, I don't know if you know this, but Bob Fosse's next movie after this is called Cabaret. I might have mistakenly said it was a Best Picture winner earlier. What I meant to say is that Fosse won the Oscar for it. He won Best Director for the movie Cabaret, his second film. Do you know what he beat at the Oscars that year for Best Director?
We're going to talk about that.
I want to tee this up now because Ben, I assume you're about to watch Cabaret for the first time.
Have you never seen Cabaret?
I have never seen Cabaret.
Wow. Shocking.
Okay, Ben, I just want to take a guess as to what you think.
What year it was? Was
1972.
My
Right.
wife is home.
Humble brag. David's wife is home.
it? Okay.
Bob Fosse wins Best Director at the Academy Awards for directing Cabaret, and he beats Francis Ford Coppola for The Godfather.
Wow.
I just want to speak to what an accomplishment.
Yeah.
That movie, what a triumph it is seen as, because The Godfather is the highest grossing movie of the year.
True.
It's the most fucking beloved movie. It wins Best Picture. It's a cultural revolution, and everyone's like, we have to give the fucking Oscar to Bob Fosse, though. This guy just changed the game.
Yeah.
It's
We'll talk
it's
about
a
it.
big fucking deal
Yeah.
that his accomplishment there was on that level. For a guy whose first movie is well, what can I say? He lost the plot.
That's really wild.
When people talk about good directing in movies, they usually say Francis Ford Coppola in The Godfather.
Well, sure. It's just the ubiquitous
Yes.
best movie of all time.
Right. What a perfectly directed film. Yeah.
But Cabaret also had a huge impact too.
huge. Yes. And you'll see.
You'll see.
It changes the
It's
way
great.
people think you can make a movie musical in many
Cool.
regards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cabaret.
That's
Excited,
next week.
I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to slither through the Fosse filmography.
Sure.
Have you seen none of these films coming up in?
No.
Oh, God,
I mean, Cabaret's the only one I would have thought maybe Ben
I know.
saw. Just
I think you're
Culturally
gonna love all these,
osmosis.
and I think All That Jazz is gonna blow your mind.
Yeah.
All That Jazz belongs in the pantheon of the biggest blank checks we have ever covered.
Why? Just because more than just budget? Well, I guess we'll get into it.
that's a big hype, but I mean, it is the best. I love it to death. So maybe you're right. I
It
don't know.
was so over budget that the studio was going to shut it down, and a different studio was like, "God damn it, we'll buy it from
Yeah,
you,"
right,
and they
right,
took it over.
Wow.
It was but also it's a guy making a movie about how much he sucks and how he's dying. It's like Bob Fosse eulogizing himself.
All right.
Anyway,
all right,
we'll
all
get
right.
to it.
Something to look forward to.
Enough.
Yeah,
Come on, we're
yeah.
talking about other movies here.
Hey.
We're sweet charity.
I'm just trying to tee people up because I want
Yes.
people to be excited.
They should be excited.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do Liza with a Z on Patreon,
Liza with a
And
Z
we'll-
Patreon.
and that's probably all we'll do, right?
Yeah,
There was brief discussion of doing a Lenny special, but we don't need to do that.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But Liza with a Z will happen. He becomes the first person to win a Tony, Oscar, and Emmy in the same year. For Liza with a Z, Pippin, and Cabaret.
Did he win a Grammy though?
Don't know if he ever won a
So
Grammy.
yeah,
Look it up while I do the wrap up of the show.
please.
Thank you all for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you to Marie Barty for our social media and helping to produce the show. Thank you to JJ Birch for compressing 42 years of a man's life into 17 pages of a dossier. Thank you to AJ McKee and Alex Barron for our editing, Lee Montgomery, the Great American Novel, for our theme song, Pat Reynolds and Joe Bowen for our artwork. You can go to patreon.com/blankcheck, Blank Check special features, where we are covering the Batman movies we haven't covered before and also doing a little Liza with a Z.
True.
As we said, go to blankcheckpod.com for links to a bunch of other real nerdy shit. And as always, the answer to the question is...
He never won a Grammy, much like his fellow EOTs, Al Pacino, Christopher Plummer, Maggie Smith, Jessica Tandy,
Liza Minnelli.
They're various. We never got that good.
And there's another thing all those people have in common.
What's that?
Never made it to Harold Night.
Never made a Lloyd team.